following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, we'll talk about the passing of Marvel legend Stan Lee. We'll answer some listener questions, talk some NFL Week 10, talk some Jimmy Butler and Carmelo Anthony in the NBA, and as always, we'll wrap it up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it.
It's more than just about some football. All my sports teams off season go through withdrawals, 30 minutes to tip off. Like Rakim was saying, we got ideas, give me ear problems. Sound like thunder and rain. I'm excited that you came on this journey with three of my friends. Defy life till we die and grow wings. Just a different perspective. Haters in every direction. Refuse to live my life based off your projections. Their expectations are lazy. My expectations are crazy. My lady defies me. Goosey, Brown, Brady, Jordan, LeBron, Aaron, Bonds, Mayweather, Ali Foreman. You get the picture, greatest ever born. I attack without warning. This is not around the horn. The other shows whack, a lot of yawning. You really want to be the best, got to pay the price. We make winning look easy. Welcome to Defy Life. Defy Life.
Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. As always, remember to follow, subscribe, like, and drop us a comment whenever you listen. You can also follow us on all social media platforms that go Defy Life. This is episode 83 of the Defy Life Podcast. I am your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Gerald Hedrick, Yusuf English. How's it going today, Gerald?
Yo, what's good, Jay? I had a good day today. It's been a trying couple of weeks though, man. But you know, all you can do is fight through life, man. It's another 2 for Tuesdays. I'm here with y'all boys. You know, let's get it. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Well, as you fight through life, you defy life as well. So yeah, I'm with you.
That's right.
No doubt, man. Everything's good, man. Yo, how's it going?
Man, it's going good, man. Out here trying to enjoy these days while we got them, and as long as I wake up in the number, I'm good. You know,
no doubt.
Very rarely do I hear it. And Gerald just said it, but Jay, how are you? How was your week?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking, man. Pretty good. Can't complain.
I mean, I asked first.
Yeah.
Now, I gave you credit.
Thank you both for asking. Actually,
I'm talking to Jay.
Everything's pretty good. Just kind of been remapping, my time management. With all the growth we've been having and growth that's coming up. It's just been kind of. Yoshmin, you talked about this. Like last week sometime, but just just kind of trying to avoid spreading myself too thin and kind of dishing out work where it needs to be. So thanks to all you guys for all your help, because sometimes it does get a bit overwhelming, but that's what we call defying life, folks. So all is well. I am definitely not complaining. Sometimes I have to remind myself that, Negro, this is what the hell you asked for. So let's get it done. So all is well, man. Can't complain at all. And
good to hear.
Yeah. And per usual, everyone, Thomas Stehens will join us whenever the hell he feels like it.
That's right.
We'll talk to him about 7 minutes after he's actually on the call, I guess. So he'll be listening to what we got him, and then he'll chime in when he gets too offended, I'm sure. So we await with bated breath as we wait for Thomas Stehens. Well, yeah, man. And as always, Thomas is going to miss the news tidbit, so we'll jump right into it so he can jump in on at the tail end of the listener questions. First off, man, we had a legend that passed away, and a lot of people use that word and throw that word around lightly. Legend, great, those kind of words often get thrown around a little lightly, but they definitely apply when it comes to someone like Stan Lee. Pretty much the architect of the Marvel universe, and Marvel as we all know it. Stan Lee is a legend. Even peripheral fans and casual comic fans know who Stan Lee is. We look forward to his cameos now in all the Marvel movies, so definitely going to be missed. Gerald, what's Stan Lee's legacy, man?
Man, yo. So, I mean, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but I'm a big time comic nerd. Reading as a kid was like, it was non-negotiable. In my dad's house, so I had to do a lot of extra reading. And so I read a lot of dictionaries and encyclopedias.
Boy, you sure we got the same dad?
Hey,
nightmares, like, man.
Hey, we just might. What 12 words did you learn today?
Oh man.
and they better have at least four syllables.
For real. Read this. Who was the first man that they thought killed Martin Luther King before they caught? Oh man, come on, man, stop. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it was almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
But but hats off to my pops, man, just because like I hated it then for a minute, and then it became a passion of mine. It became a love of mine. To this day, I still love to read and research and things like that. But I said all that to say, like, my love of reading kind of took me into the comic book world. And like Marvel comics specifically, like I never really kind of gravitated really towards DC comics until I got a little older, and but it was always I kind of loved the flawedness of the Marvel characters, and man, just that whole universe from. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time. I love the X-Men. So I kind of started out with Spider-Man and the X-Men. And then kind of moved on to the whole, Marvel universe. Is just, kind of. So I've read tons and tons of comics, collecting them as a kid. And I'll never forget, man, I think I was like 20, maybe 22 or 23 or whatever. And I remember, I started playing around in the stock market when I turned about 22 or 23. I started taking, like not too much, but like $25 out of every pay, and I would like buy some stock. So I messed around and bought some Marvel stock just because I was like, oh, I knew Marvel as a kid, let me mess around with Marvel stock. And so because I was a shareholder, I remember like reading this plan about, we're kind of with print, we're still going to print comics, but we have a new vision. We want to take our comics and we want to bring them to life. And they kind of launched their plan to take their comics and really kind of blow them into movies.
Gotcha.
So, the comic world had kind of played on. Of course, there was a Superman movie, it was like Batman movies. And I think by this time they had made the first, couple of, Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and things like that. Like, I think, but it wasn't the
MCU.
Right. It wasn't like a plan to relaunch or kind of refocus the Marvel universe into a world that wasn't like a niche group, and now you see, man, there's not I don't think there's a person that doesn't go see I mean, of course there's a few people, but I don't think there's a person that doesn't go see a Marvel. Like as much money as those movies gross, the last few years, it's hard, like worldwide, it's hard pressed to say that a person, isn't affected or isn't touched by one of those movies. And it all started from Stan Lee and those comics, man. The characters he had the visionary to create. I remember when kind of reading the story of Black Panther and Storm and like how he wanted like, black superheroes, and it just like all of this was just part of his vision from a time where a lot of people didn't have these visions. So man, hats off to Stan Lee, hats off to Marvel like to that whole team out there. But man, he created a world that is not going to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Yosh, what kind of impact does Stan Lee have on you?
I want to say this, like Gerald, I got my start with reading from my aunt. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. I got it with my dad. He would take me to Barnes and Nobles in the village, and in Barnes and Nobles you can read books and for free. My dad ain't much money, so this was his thing. Every Saturday he would come take me, my brother, and my sister, and we'd go read. And that's when I got into Donald Goines and other people. But it wasn't until I went to live in Trinidad that my aunt got me into reading other things other than Donald Goines books. And one of the first things she gave me was, oddly enough, it has nothing to do with Stan Lee, but Archie and Jughead. And I found it to be somewhat amusing but boring at the same time. And I remember asking, we went to buy a new book because I had ran through that particular comic, and I saw a Wolverine comic book. And so I picked it up and I started reading. And that's kind of how I became infatuated with Wolverine. And then it kind of expanded from there to the X-Men, and then Spider-Man, as you, Gerald, as well. Spider-Man kind of is probably one of my favorite comic books, comic characters. I think that
because he's so flawed, right? Like
it's a kid in a suit. You know, it's a kid in a suit, and I think at that, you know, every kid can relate to the issues that he's having outside of the suit.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
right.
Yeah. Like we were able to relate. Almost every character was an adult, and you really couldn't, you know, it really was no outside life. But here it was, this awkward kid who had a crush on this girl who. This kid had these, you know, it was just, and eventually it blossoms into something, but it's almost, you know, it's almost regal in a way, and you enjoy reading the comics of, especially Spider-Man. And like my son right now, my youngest boy, he's got a Spider-Man, you know, a little teddy bear that he goes to sleep with, and my older boy Amir loves Spider-Man, and it's just and I think it's because it's probably the most relatable character to kids. But I think
the crazy part is, I think kids today, not to cut you off, I just want to make this one quick point.
No, you're good.
Just because you read the comics. Kids today, that all they really have are the movies, unless they go get the comics, are really going to lose how witty and sarcastic and like how flawed Spider-Man is as a hero. Yeah. And they're gonna, all those things that you just talked about, like, and keep in mind how many, because basically Spider-Man's world, like everyone Spider-Man loves, something like horrible happens to. Yep. You know, so it's like, and from having that as a kid and just dealing with all of that, and like, so kids are gonna lose two things: how flawed he is as a character, how much pain he went through that could develop him as a hero, and also like just how I always fell in love with how witty and sarcastic he was, you know, all throughout his adventures as Spider-Man. That was one of my favorite things about Spider-Man, because he was a little smart ass.
And not only that, but he was a smart ass, but the things he said, as you said, Gerald, you know, were witty and smart. Like they were they were intellectual retorts to what was going on at the particular time. You know what I mean? It's almost like, yeah, you're stupid if you don't understand that I'm insulting you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was what made it so good. And to a certain degree, you know, I think that things that you experience as a kid through reading, which is what I try to get my students to understand, reading is what expands your vocabulary. Reading is what expands who you are as far as your vernacular is concerned. And I think that reading those comics allowed me an opportunity at a young age to understand rhetoric and things like that. And nobody really understands how deep that a comic book can be if you're reading it. If all I'm doing is sitting there, and yes, you're right, kids miss the bus because all they do is watch these movies. And although I thought Tobey Maguire did a good job, the newer one I like more because it's more of a flawed character than the Tobey Maguire character, if that makes sense. I really felt like this character was more flawed. Now, he gets his suit from Tony Stark, and he's trying to figure life out dealing with this suit and making all of these friggin' mistakes that a kid would make. You know, life is not perfect. I'm gonna do this. And even the Tobey Maguire character had a level of wittiness to him, like when he's in the ring with the wrestler, with Randall, with Macho Man. He goes, "I'm not coming down there. No, I ain't stupid." Like, you know, and it's crazy to see where the mind of how a mind of a person can end up influencing so many through words. And that's why I say although it's the most underrated thing, I think that, you know, literature is the way that we reach everybody, if everybody can buy into it. And I think that he did a great job of taking it, grew into these movies, but it started with literature, and that's the big thing. And I think that's what's missed when it comes to
great writing.
And the dope thing, I mean, I'm guessing, I know, Money, you flat out said it. So, I'm guessing that Spider-Man is your favorite superhero as well.
Oh man, yeah, like for the same reasons Gerald said it, and I mean, for me, like, it was the same thing for me. Like it was. He is a flaw. Okay, let me put it to you like this. And this is easier than the way Money put it, as far as he's saying, you know, he's a flawed character. Here's the thing with Spider-Man, that I think what makes him a lot of people favorite. I could be Spider-Man tomorrow, and I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I don't need much of anything to be him, because I am him. I am a kid at heart who, shoot, if you gave me a suit that shot some spider webs, I'd be out here crawling upside the wall myself.
And a
I mean, you still got to be bitten by a radioactive spider too.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, shit, I don't need to be. Here's the thing: I don't need to be indestructible with claws and have my body regenerate every time I die, or be faster than a speeding bullet and be indestructible when bullets hit me. You know, like, I am flawed. Right. You know, I am human. I am. I am something. You know, and I think that's why people relate. And not to float over to DC, but I think that's why people relate to Batman as well. Is because it's a smart guy who got some money, who, you know, who said, "Let me get all these trinkets together and let me do something with myself." You know, but you know, I think that it all started with books, and I think that's what people lose. Like, you see the movies, but it started with books, these little 5 to 10 minute reads that would take a kid forever to read because you were so into the action, but you read every single word because you couldn't understand the action without reading the words.
Yeah, and that's the power of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, you know, his longtime partner at Marvel. But for one, you know, like Spider-Man, Stan Lee, you know, of course, along the way kind of got a bad rep for just being the face of Marvel, while Jack Kirby did a lot of work as far as creating characters and the illustrations. But Stan Lee actually put in a lot of work as well. And that's why I said it's interesting that Spider-Man is both of your favorite characters, because he's one of the characters that Stan Lee flat out created, now without any help from anyone. So he's actually the sole creator of Spider-Man. But just like that entire story is crazy as far as they started in like a broom closet at Marvel, because Marvel was way below DC Comics at the time, and pretty much as a favor to his father, as like a 19-year-old, Marvel gave Stan Lee a job. They like fired their editor and for the paper, and they needed a guy to fill the job. And it was like a favor to his father. The boss hired him, and they just threw him in a broom closet and said, "Go to work." and he built this, like, him and Jack Kirby and a few other illustrators just built this like elaborate universe, and just the creativity, especially back then when there was no blueprint.
There was no computers, no digital graphics,
exactly. Like nothing to like influence them other than their imaginations, and that's why I think it's so dope. It's funny, and not to be a contrarian here, but Spider-Man's never, like, he's always been low on my totem pole of favorites for that opposite reason. Is because he was a kid, and he's always been like, he was a smart ass. That's why I don't dislike Spider-Man, but he was a smart ass. I was like, somebody don't shut this little kid up. And as I got older, and then when they did the Tobey Maguire movies, I still never caught on. I liked the movies, but it never caught me. It never grabbed me because that's what I think one of their major issues was with the Spider-Man movies earlier, was they would tell the same story over and over. And that's why I'm so grateful that they kind of introduced new storylines to the Spider-Man story, because it grabs me much more.
Right.
But I've always thought the Marvel characters, when we compare Marvel to DC, I've always thought the Marvel characters were more well-rounded. And like you said, Money, they're so much more relatable because they are flawed. And they kind of dig deeper into the universe, to different characters. Like Beast has always been my favorite character, just because he's extremely flawed, and he's highly intelligent. So he kind of belies his physical sense, and so I've always, held on to Beast, I guess, in that same sense, because I'm a big dude, and people, are kind of shocked by my intelligence at times. So I've always gravitated to Beast, and
right.
But the entire like Marvel universe, it's always been amazing to me how like you can just draw that from your imagination, like you and a couple of your homeboys just sitting in a broom closet and create this entire universe. It's amazing to me.
It really is.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think that one of the things that made him great, and I think, Jay, you brought this point up just now, just like Gerald and myself. He created characters that no matter who you were, you could relate to one. Like there was always one that you could, no matter who you were, you could relate to one of them. Like it was something in each in one of the characters that, okay, like you might not agree with. Hell, he made a blind character for Pete's sake, like there's a blind superhero. You know what I mean? Like, who thinks of half of this stuff? You know what I'm saying? You got a villain who should be
even the villains were the Marvel villains are incredible.
Yeah,
like,
because they're so likable.
My God,
it's so hard and hate. Yeah.
Well, that's because in their eyes, that's what makes a good villain. Like your villain has to, like, all the villains in the Marvel world make sense at some, like,
absolutely.
even Thanos. I was like,
yo, listen,
like, okay,
really. Mm-hmm.
like that shit kind of makes sense in a little bit of like, I can see that. I can see that.
Secret
or Killmonger.
Yeah,
like, I just like, like he kind of making sense a little bit. Yeah, like I can see that. Like so, that's what makes a good villain. That's what makes a good villain.
Yo, no matter how much I wanted to root for the good guys, Thanos had me legit going, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, I want this nigga to win for real. Like, I want him to win. Like, get all the stones. Let me see him get all the stones. I want to see what he do when he get all these stones. Like, I need to, get him. Because it's so relatable. For something to be so far-fetched, to make it relatable is the key. And he did that. Honestly. And that's a tough thing to do, to make something that is so unrealistic relatable and interesting, and make people want to go, okay, I can do that. And then not only that, but think about this. Whereas everybody is trying to win over the new generation, for Marvel, they already built a base with the old generation through comic books.
Yeah. They got me. I'm a forever fan. I go see every movie.
So all they had to do, like on our show, Marvel versus Take a Knee for Marvel and DC. I listen to them religiously. Actually, needless to say, I actually am into what they're talking about. Like, they had a debate the other day: which world is better, the DC world or the Netflix world? And I was in it, and I was disagreeing with him. I wanted to call V's, but he said something I completely disagreed with. But I listened to it, and for it to be, and they're even centered around the comic books, and for it to be a situation where you have older people who are the driving force behind it, and then you incorporate something such as bringing those characters off the page into life to incorporate the newer generation, who then in turn go back and say, "Oh man, they got comic books. Let me go see
comics." That tell more. That actually tell more of the story. Let me go.
And then to bridge that gap, like the animated movies, to kind of bridge that gap, like it's crazy, and like the foresight to have. Like, even you look at like Professor X and Magneto, to create them to be created in the 60s and to be modeled after Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
insane. Insane. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, so just think about the X-Men, that whole storyline of mutants, and like a lot of people don't understand where that storyline actually came from. But when you the two leaders in that book, once again, a villain, Magneto, and those X-Men, or rather those mutants, when you sit back and watch, you like, damn, maybe Magneto, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, they ain't never gonna treat us the same. Yeah. The system wasn't made for us. Like, why we trying to fight to help you? Why are we trying to fit in and
live in their world? Like,
so that was what all of that was about. So and that's why a lot of people gravitated towards Magneto's message, because a lot of mutants ended up not being X-Men, but they were feeling that. So, and then of course the universe go like it's super like level 9 mutants and all of that, which is super like, but like so what ended up happening. So Jay, part of what you were saying about the Spider-Man stuff, I just want to touch on something real quick. Like, that was Hollywood's fault. That was Hollywood's politics fault. So part of that was them not realizing Spider-Man was going to make as much money as it did. They wanted to do a new movie, and Toby wanted more money. So they was like, well, we gonna nix the storyline because we got to go with a whole new Spider-Man. So then they found so then they had to find a whole new Spider-Man, and then they did a reboot. Well, I thought those Spider-Mans were actually really, really good, but then they wanted to go with an even younger guy so they could tell a whole new story. So I feel like they didn't have to, like, that's why they didn't tell the same old story again with the newest Spider-Man, just because they really kind of had already done that twice. Yeah. But when you bring things to Hollywood, and then you got to start talking like the Avengers is about to hit some snags, because out of those like seven of those people's contracts are up. So now they're trying to figure out, okay, who do we bring back? Who and for the dude that plays Thor and Wolverine, like those dudes have already said they don't want to come back. You know, so some of this is like it's some of it's contract negotiation, some of it's the fact that those first 3 movies weren't owned by Marvel, and now that they've kind of linked up with Disney. Now the Marvel world's owned by Disney, so now it's kind of all under the same universe. Now they own the story, they own the rights, they own the production. So part of that was like Marvel actually trying to get rights to their own material, if that makes sense. So stay on the look. Oh, and I wanted to make another point, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I'm feeling it. Yes.
But they did say that they were able to get a cameo out of Stan Lee before he passed for the next Avengers movie. So that's dope. So
that is dope.
Will have one last cameo from Stan Lee. I don't know about y'all, but I could talk comics all day.
Yeah, I could. I really could. I'm gonna be a guest on. I'm gonna be a guest on Taking Me for DC. Actually.
Yeah, me too. Soon.
They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I envy those guys sometimes. It's like, why the fuck do we choose sports? I could have talked about video games all day. But yeah, man. Again, and for y'all who've been living under a rock and don't know what we're talking about, go take a gander at take a knee for Marvel versus DC with Scott V's and Oz. They do an excellent job here on the Defy Life Podcast Network. I think there's 6 episodes in, and I'm hooked, as I am to all of our shows. Y'all taking up like half of my day right now between
right.
So yeah, man, like all of y'all. Yo, I cuss you out every day, because I'm hooked on all. I try to find new podcasts, and I'm always finding new podcasts on our own network. So it's pretty dope.
Stuck on ours, man. I can't. For real, I'm stuck on our shows, man. Like I'm always like trying to check myself. Like, man, am I being biased?
Yo,
man,
I ain't gonna front. That was me today. As Neat Cruz dropped her new show today. Yeah. And I was like, yo, am I biased? But do I really like this shit? Like, I was like, I was in like, nah, all men don't cheat. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Marvel, DC. I'm arguing with V's on the damn thing. Nah, that fight in the hallway with Daredevil was the best. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're talking about, V's. Like, I like Iron Fist. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. You know, like, so, it's crazy. Yeah. When you get an opportunity to, like, you could listen to, and then you got Beezy and Courtney with the DJ Play show. You got
that's fire. The Len and Kim show is fire. Like, it's the English show with Coach Kurtz is fire. Like the Hartsville. I literally run out of time to listen to all of our shows, but man,
but
if I get a quiet moment and I start working,
the only thing I can say is at least we come out on different days.
Yeah, that's true. And
it's dope.
Yeah, and it's dope as hell to be a fan of your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to be a fan of your own family. That's dope, because you ain't got to go far. It's got to be what it's like growing up in the Wayans household. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to go far to find somebody dope. Just make me laugh. Somebody like.
Somebody make me laugh.
Yeah. So it's pretty dope.
Now it's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Because listen, I'm gonna make a disclaimer, and I'm gonna say something right now. Len and Kim are hard as shit to work with, because they are perfectionists and they are annoying as crap. But I love them to death, and they are like, hey, producer, can you please that part where Edison is like yelling, or that part where Coco is barking, can you go in and take that out? Or this guy says that he doesn't want me to mention his name. Can you just take where I say his name out? I was like, just his name? like that one part you want me to find and take it. But I love them to death, and I honestly would rather be doing nothing else than here working on shows for the Defy Life Podcast, man, network, man. It is, when you find your passion, you ride with it, and
the end result is so worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, listen.
Yeah, whenever I go back and listen to, whether it's our show or, working with Scott with their show, you know what I'm saying, listening to y'all's show, and like we've had issues with all the shows at some point. It's part of podcasting life. But when you get the end result of it, and like you can just like, for one, you appreciate all the work that goes into it. But when you get the end result, and then we see other people enjoying it, and you're really a fan of your own family, it's dope. So
man. I mean, it's been a whirlwind. But I told Jay, I said, listen, no more new shows after we finish this last show. We got to get done. No more new shows until we get everybody straight.
And
somewhere summer 19. Summer 19. We going. Summer 19 is the next time we bring. So,
other than Keon Small, you talking about you might eventually do your own podcast. Good luck with that.
We got we got two more projects got to get out, but after that, we on break.
Yeah, really. Because I ain't got time to do nothing for you. Because if you know all the time that goes into doing just one show, Keon Small, good luck to you, sir. And speaking of which, whenever Thomas Stehens gets on, I thought he'd be on by now, but I think we are desperately. Oh, he is on now. So, sir, we are desperately in need of a new episode of Fantasy Beast, sir. What is going on with Fantasy Beast?
Hey, we on. I was just, right before I clicked on, I just had this bright idea, man. I have a new show. Come out with a new show.
Man, did you not hear what we just said, man? Did you hear what we just said? I don't think you got to hold that to the summer of 2019, man.
Your new show will come out. Your new show gonna come out with Defy Life tank top. That's what your new show. and your Defy Life tank tops and big draws. Your show will come out with
Defy Life granny panties. That's what you need to work on. Defy Life
granny panties will debut with your show.
Yeah, we coming out. We about to have some out. We're gonna get one out this weekend for the the new rankings and whatnot. But all jokes to the side, though, I do have a show.
My boy, what's good?
Like you think I'm joking? Ain't no joke.
Good? Nah, Jay. Nah, I spoke about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is already in the making.
Yeah,
it's already in the making. Yeah. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope concept. So,
all right now.
You just hope you get your Twitter fingers ready and get ready to promote that show.
Right.
I feel you. As long as Pooh doing all the work, we all right.
Exactly. Me and Yos like we ain't got a bandwidth on me.
Because I'm fucking tired. I can't.
Oh man, I'm like my kids looking at me funny.
Yeah, shit.
Ooh. Just like,
I feel.
I'm messing around sleeping in the studio. I don't need to be doing this.
But yeah, man. Pooh, how's it going, man?
It's going well, man. I'm a little banged up, man. A little banged up right now, man. I need to get back in the gym, man. I've been breaking up fights the last 3 days of school.
Oh,
Friday.
Hey, what I tell y'all.
Yep, yo, she's talking about that, man.
Yeah.
I don't do that shit.
You gotta get back in the gym to break up fights. Golly.
What you mean? Yeah. What you mean? You ever tried to break up a fight?
Yo. I don't know. Hey, let them niggas fight.
Man, these are. If this was high school, I'm in middle school though. I'm not gonna let someone 12-year-old child get pummeled. No, I'm not into that type business.
Hey, I work over there too.
You gotta get in the gym to break up fights with 12-year-olds. Golly.
Some of them 12-year-olds 6'1", 225.
Hey, remember I told you I got punched in the face breaking up a fight, y'all? Yeah, that happened at the same school Pooh work at. Wow. That was set the precedent for me. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not. I promise. We're gonna call the people that get paid the big bucks to do it.
Pooh out there breaking up fights with Zion. You gotta cut.
Yeah, shit.
You gotta
you
break up
see
fights
him.
with the little kids, man. Not Zion.
Man,
Yeah.
LeBron fight, you let them fight.
6'1", 225.
You got it.
Hey,
You got it.
yeah, good. I'd have hit that kid with a chair.
Yeah.
Nah. I gotta get in there. I can't let them get pummeled. Not on my watch.
Well,
Bro, I feel you.
Hey, it's a lot of reasons. Hey, it's a lot of reasons you could get back in the gym, and I guess that's as good as any of them.
Any reason to get me back in there? I need it.
For real. I hope you get that figured out. Because if I see a video of you getting pummeled by a 12-year-old, we gonna have to talk.
Nah. I'm not getting pummeled now.
Again. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a conversation led with a lot of giggling and shit. but-
Conversation, that shit gonna go viral. You know, kids. Look at Mr.
I'm not getting humbled.
Look at how little Romeo handling Mr. Stehens.
Like, Romeo, hold up, Romeo. Defy Life, Romeo.
Sir. I got to school this morning on Instagram. I was like, yo, y'all got me on the gram though.
Well,
Kids,
Yeah.
Hey, my
Kids
coworker
wild.
was like, man, I ain't never seen a dude so cool breaking up a fight.
go ahead. As my sister would call you, cool ass poo.
It was like, yo, how you cool breaking up a fight though? I was like, what you want me to do?
That's crazy. Wow.
You know?
We get in the gym, man. Hope you get that figured out.
Yeah.
We don't want you. We don't want you on the Instagram for the wrong reasons.
Nah, I've been saying that though about the gym
too.
because I had grabbed my son one day, and I was like, yo, this kid is solid, And he kind of like said something up under his breath.
Yeah.
Good night.
Kid don't even know he can handle you. And you
He can't handle it. But
he don't even know it yet. He can
hey,
handle you.
but I'm gonna get in the gym to ensure he can't handle me. No doubt.
Wow. Well, glad you joined. You actually made it before the second news tidbit. So welcome, sir. That second news tidbit, money. You asked for this, and I've been telling these people that I was gonna get to the listener questions on a lighter note, but no. Gerald Stehens wants to bring up some heavy shit. So here you go, people. Gerald, tell the people what you want to talk about.
Hey man, I couldn't let this 2 for Tuesday go by.
No doubt.
Let me channel my inner Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't let this 2 for Tuesday go by without talking about the preposterous stuff that's happening out there right now. No, I don't want to make. I don't know. I don't want to make light of it, man. But I'm in a good mood. This is gonna make me not be in a good mood. And there was a security officer that was shot and killed by police officers responding to a fight. And they killed the gentleman.
His name was Jamel Robertson.
That was breaking up the fight. Jamel Robertson. I couldn't remember the name, but he had already handled the fight situation. Yeah. The guy actually, the police were actually responding to a shooting. So there was an altercation. I guess there was some words spoken, like a fight break out, and security of the venue removed the participants of the fight from the scene. One of the guys apparently went back to his vehicle or wherever he got it from. He got a weapon and came back and let some shots ring out. Well, what was his name, Jay?
Jamel Robertson.
Jamel Robertson. Mr. Robertson actually handled the situation and he had the suspect kind of on the ground with his knee in his back. So police are responding to the shots fired situation, and even though like, so the police come, they draw on this guy. They draw down on this guy, and before the situation could even, they didn't ask no questions before. So even though bystanders yelling, no, like
they know he's
like
a hero.
He's security, like he's security, he's secure. Boom, shots rang out, and it's the cops. It's the cops shooting this guy. So of course he I don't even think he made it to the hospital before he was dead. And turns out that the kid was acting in his local church, and actually organ player, wanted to be a police officer. And it's just an unfortunate and I just don't know. I just don't know. Of course, there's a lawsuit now against the department, and probably be a civil file. Of course, before you file a civil suit, you always file a criminal charge. So even like there's a criminal investigation going on right now, but of course there'll be civil charges later on down the road. But man, my heart is breaking for our brothers, man. Like I don't know. I mean, we've literally seen people get killed for like this is just another check on the list. Like I didn't, man. I really kind of want to get y'all's feedback and y'all's way in, because I'm, guys know how I feel. Like I'm at a loss for words, man. My heart, this shit breaks my heart, man. And I with the crazy rhetoric coming from the geopolitical world, and there's already this is a much deeper issue, but I mean here's another one where we have an officer involved shooting, and he in this case I do believe the gentleman was armed, but so I don't want to say but still jump out the car, not really assess the situation. I get it. I get that the officers are responding to shots fired. I get it. So I don't know. Maybe because I'm not a cop, I don't understand. But so I guess you are arriving to the scene. Your adrenaline's already running. You're trying to assess threats and keep people safe. Like I get it. But I mean, they shot the dude in his fucking security vest. Like he had a security vest on.
I was about to say that. It says they shot him in the side.
Exactly. But I also get like what else do we have to understand? Every time something happens, I get it. They're cops. They have to they shoot somebody that has a phone. They shoot somebody who has nothing on them. They shoot somebody holding a baby. They shoot somebody in a security vest. They shoot somebody holding a gun who chased down the actual shooter. Like, how many situations do there have to be for us to keep understanding? Oh, they're cops. They made a bad decision. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, how many excuses do they get?
Yeah.
And so at some point, I'm like, okay, I get it. How much shit we got to get before they get it? And
I guess that's the.
It's time for and Yosh, I'm sure you say this to your players all the time. There's a difference in a reason and an excuse, and all we getting is excuses, man. And unfortunately, it's lives being lost, and all this makes me, and all it is just proving that those lives are not as important as whatever excuse we can make up afterwards. Because it's too late for the excuses, whether it's a reason or excuse or cop out, whatever it is, no pun intended. It's too late. Somebody's dead, man. And so, I'm tired of getting it. They need to figure this shit out.
Is this one of those?
I don't think it can be figured out, man. You're asking you're asking us to get inside the head of people who we just can't seem to understand. And you know, there are some great police officers out there. I happen to know a couple of them. And then there's these who walk into these situations with predetermined mindsets that everybody got to go down. You know what I mean? Like I got to get home. This is what I spoke with a police officer, and this is what he said. I got to get home to my family. So if it's them or me, it's gonna be them. And you don't never know who's got what, and this, that, and the third. And although I feel you, I do feel like there's a way to deal with situations so you can make it back to your family.
I don't get that either, though.
Because, no, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want people walking with each situation.
I don't want people walking the streets feeling like that.
Exactly, because then your mindset is that all these people that I'm supposed to be protecting are my enemy.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm agreeing with y'all. Like
yeah, that's what, no, like, I'm talking about what you said. The cops is like I don't.
Yeah. Like, I mean, but you're walking. Me and him would have had a whole argument.
Yeah, I'm right.
You walking into it
like,
with a exposed situation.
Yeah, exactly. How like that's the Wild West. It's gonna be them. Like I gotta respond to everything's a life or death situation for everybody. Yeah. That means when he pulled me over, he already thinking his life in danger, which is the question I was about to ask. Oh, y'all, it's four of us. Are we that much of a fucking threat? What society, in the minds of some people, has painted us and washed us in the veil of fucking, like it's like all of us have nuclear missiles in the trunk or something. Like I don't fucking get why they, and when I say they, I don't mean any particular person. I just mean any person with that predetermined mindset that, oh, I see a black guy, and now I'm scared. Like that society has been successful in branding us a fucking threat. More of a threat than Ryan and Robert and fucking
Tyler,
Josh, and
but I can't be totally mad at the people who've been force fed that rhetoric. Somebody said this to me a long time ago. To kind of put it in perspective, is not to compare any of us to animals or dogs. But I remember as a kid, every story that I read and I saw about dogs attacking people were about Doberman Pinschers. And then it moved on to Rottweilers. And then it moved on to Pit Bulls, right?
Yeah.
So that's the story that's painted all the time. And so naturally, when that's all you see, and you're not exposed to anything else involving those breeds, other than them attacking people and turning on people, when you see those breeds, first thing gonna come in your mind. Exactly.
You scared as shit.
Same thing. Is that's all terrified. A lot of people see is whether it's in movies or whether it's music or whether it's news reports. That's all they see. And so their natural reaction is fear, whether it's warranted or not. And a lot of people aren't aware enough to discern the difference between reality and what's being pushed on them. All right? Because if we all fell into that, into that trap, I would freak out every time I saw a white dude aged 21 to 35 in a movie theater or school. I'd freak out because that's when they do their damage. You know what I'm saying?
So based on your base, so why doesn't that happen?
Well, because for one, whenever there's always a different story that's painted. For one, there's always he was a good kid and he's having mental health issues previously, and he had some trouble at home, and there's always a story painted to kind of humanize, those assailants. But when it's a young black kid, we don't get that same benefit of the doubt. And we don't get, it's actually quite the opposite. When
so we don't,
I'm sure
so we don't get humanized.
Yeah, exactly. We get dehumanized, and I'm sure somebody's going to try to say that Mr. Robertson had, weed in his car, or that he got arrested, for jaywalking in 2009. Like, I'm sure somebody's going to try to pull up some dirt and say and try to justify, him being killed, which has nothing to do with the situation. So it's an intricate system in the way it works.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds systemic.
It is. And, a lot of people aren't. And people, and news media outlets, they know this. The systems in place know this. A lot of police departments know this. So that's what they do that on purpose. Because they know, like I always say, that a person is smart, people are stupid as hell. So if you get a group of people and get one of them talking some dumb shit, eventually groupthink is going to allow all those same people to fall right in line. Now, that may be a vocal minority who say, hold up, something's not right here. But that majority of people who fall right in line with that groupthink are going to squash that and quiet those people out and tell them they stupid and they conspiracy theorists and they making stuff up, and to keep that same rhetoric going. And that's, again, like you said last week, Money, like that's the same reason we have the same issues now as we did 40, 50, 70 years ago. It just don't stop.
I never heard it put to me the way you just broke it down with that dog shit. Like, that's real. Like, that shit made it crystal clear. Like, I can put myself in that mind frame now of like, damn, I do remember that for years, that is all I saw about those, and for years I was terrified of those fucking breeds.
Exactly.
And it took me, like, I had to become an adult and actually, like, be around those breeds. And honestly, it's just pit bull. It's just pit bulls. Because to this day, I'm still fucking terrified of Dobermans and Rottweilers. But I've been around so many pits that, like, I'm like, okay, so yeah, that shit hit a home run with me, J-Man. Thank you. And hopefully that hit a home run with listeners too. And so which is why I asked you the next question of, like, because that's an element of control. Like, because it's a well-known fact that mass terrorist acts are committed by native-born white dudes, like 70-something% of them. But every time the cops run up on a white dude, they ain't coming out guns blazing and all of that. Like, so yeah, you're right. Damn.
Yeah. And we're taught, you know what I'm saying? We're all taught that, from a young age. But, it's until enough of us are, one, willing to be staunch enough about, not only speaking up against it, but taking action against it and being the change that we want to see. Shit's just going to continue. And it's not just one-sided. Shit, if people have video cameras and social media back when I was a kid and brought it to a house party my parents were giving, and there was a whole bunch of black folks that was born in South Carolina in the 50s having a conversation. Can you imagine the shit they would hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it ain't just one-sided. We've all got our biases, but it's just, our biases don't take lives.
Right.
and
That's
it's
deep.
sad as fuck. But does make you angry. It makes me angry.
Makes me angry too,
Yeah.
and concerned.
Yeah. So, just in time for some listener questions.
Boy, Yoshi and Pooh had whispering. They haven't even whispered in 10
For
minutes.
real, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, listen, y'all boys had it. Y'all had it. I didn't want to interrupt the flow. It's like it was like Steph and Clay were on. I'm just Draymond out here trying to grab
Dribble it
rebounds.
off your
I
foot.
don't want to dribble it off my foot. I'm just out here. We out here running screens and shit. Y'all
Man.
boys sitting in the background.
Oh man. Well, all right. Well, yeah, I'm glad you inserted that money. That's better than talking about some fucking wildfires. Yeah. But we'll be right back, man. We'll give ourselves some time to cool off. I'll give myself some time to cool off. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds after this message from the Defy Life Podcast. Check out the DJ Blaze radio show.
Yes, Brandon.
Hey, yo, Jay hit me up, man. He said we got to record a commercial, yo.
A commercial about what?
About the show. We got to tell what what we be talking about and shit.
Oh, Lord. Oh, we talk about everything.
Yeah, so we got
What
to
you gonna say?
I don't know. I say some shit like we talk about news and gossip and politics and black lives shit and white shenanigans and shit. And how you and your wife be having lesbian sex.
Right, because they need to know that part.
Yeah, they do need to know that part. But what else I need to tell them?
I mean, the name of the show at this point, you done said everything else.
Oh, yeah, that too.
This is the DJ Blaze Radio Show podcast.
Welcome back to episode 83 of the Defy Life Podcast. It's J.R. Glymph, along with Gerald Hedrick, Yusuf English, Thomas Stehens. Guys, Yosh, I know you've heard it, but Money, Pooh, have y'all heard that commercial from DJ Blaze Radio Show podcast? From B
Yes.
and Courtney? Yo.
Yes.
That shit
I love
funny as hell.
Yo. Pooh, if you had heard it, that was the funniest shit. Yo, when B-Eazy sent that shit over to me, for one, he shouted me out in it, so I had to love it. But yo, that's the funniest shit. That's, man,
Yo,
the creativity of
Easy.
these people on this network, man.
Be
Yeah,
Easy
man.
is funny as hell. If you have not listened to that show, please, I beg you, go listen to that show. It is some of the funniest shit. Now, we're funny as crap, and I honestly believe it. That nigga stupid. He ignorant.
Yeah,
like
they
that show
talking
is
crazy.
ignorant.
And heads up to all y'all, he talking shit about this trivia battleground. He convinced he gonna win
He
this
talking shit. Now,
Yeah.
I will say this: from knowing Be Easy I've known Be Easy for about maybe around 8-10 years. Very intellectual man,
Yeah,
very well
smart.
read.
Yeah.
Very well read, very, very got a lot of upkeep. I don't know if you know a lot about high school basketball players, but he's really
Golly.
This has been, and this preparation for this trivia battleground has been some of the most enjoyable shit I've done over the last 6 months, right? Because it's for one of y'all's categories, but Yosh, I give you some credit, man. That high school basketball legends was probably the most enjoyable category to compile. That was some fun shit to do.
I think that there's people that everybody knows, but you'll know it when you hear the questions. I honestly believe it that it's easier than what y'all think.
It is, and that was dope. Jason, our listener, his category was the Friday movie franchise. That was
Okay.
but yeah, and this whole Be Easy submitted Jay-Z as a category.
Now that's biased because Jay-Z the biggest Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Fan. He is the biggest one.
And by the way, I'll be sending out the for everyone in money. I think you're on episode 1, right? You're gonna be on this Thursday.
Yeah.
So I was trying to split y'all up, so we wouldn't have. So Yosh, Pooh, I think y'all will be on episode 2, which we'll get together with y'all to record that one. But it's your category that you submitted is no guarantee to be on your show.
Yeah, I figured that.
So that's the beauty in it. So he may have submitted Jay-Z as a category, but we wanted to do that to make sure it was well-rounded and everyone was represented. But it's no guarantee that your category is going to show up on your show. And there is a way to work around that. If you perform well, I'll be sending out the rules and gameplay tomorrow to everybody. So y'all will see how it works. But it's pretty dope.
It's gonna be so fire.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so fire.
Yeah. So I think that first
I
episode.
actually had people text me and say, "Damn, I'm super interested."
No.
But if Jay's hosting, I don't want to be in it. That nigga question's hard as hell.
It's crazy, like, because there's so many, like, of course it's 10 participants, so it's 9 representatives from each show, and then we have a listener, so it's 10 different categories. So we had to do 10 questions from 10 categories. So Scott was like, "Look, I'll take this." I was like, "Word, those are the ones I wanted you to take," because I have no idea about them shit. So Scott took shit like black superheroes and Game of Thrones, shit like that. So
yeah, you got Game of Thrones as a category.
Game of Thrones is a category. Yeah. So I think episode 1 will be is you money representing Fantasy Beast. Oz representing Take a Knee, Miggs from Movies with Miggs. He'll be on. Be Easy will be on episode 1, and can't remember the last person. Jason, the listener. Yosh and Pooh, y'all will battle it out, and then so the top 2 from each episode will go to the championship game. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be dope. But yeah, Be Easy talking shit, y'all. He convinced he gonna win this shit.
I'm glad he's convinced.
No doubt.
I'm glad he's convinced.
I think you were strategic with that, Jay, but we ain't gonna say nothing. I think you strategically put me on that show with Thomas.
I kind of did, sir.
I ain't gonna call him Thomas. You put me on that show with Diddy, and I don't rock with Diddy like that.
Well, actually, I reached out to him to see if he wanted to be on episode 1 because I was trying to separate y'all for the first one, but he couldn't make it on to Thursday. So,
man, you got to even off them brackets, man. I need to see him in the championship. We need to even off them brackets.
So both of y'all got to make it out of the episode 2 to get to so y'all can face off in the championship game.
Yeah, that's like Duke and Kentucky in the first round. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what aisle at? What bracket aisle in?
Al will be in the second one.
Okay.
So
Al's formidable.
Yeah, so of course the second episode, and I'll get with y'all so we can set up the time, get everybody coordinated. So it'll be Yosh from Staley in English, Pooh representing Speak the Truth, Al representing Defy Life, Lynn and this is the this is the privilege of being pretty and female. Is Lynn and Kim will represent the Lynn and Kim show because it wouldn't be right to just have one of them on.
Wow.
We knew y'all was gonna hate that. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah. Hold on.
That's the privilege of being the queens of the Defy Life, man.
I'm about to get on them right now. We ain't about to.
They don't even know yet. They don't even know yet.
That's not even. That's not. They must have put in for it.
They don't even
that's
know.
Not even fair.
Hey, we got so many curveballs for y'all. Y'all think like the trivia questions ain't hard, but it's some curveballs in here for y'all.
That's not even fair. Lynn.
I'm bringing the bully on with me, man.
That means you're gonna get disqualified.
Hey, Jacob just told me that y'all gonna be on the show. You and Kim gonna be on the show for y'all to be on the trivia. That's not fair. That's not fair. What you mean? Why? What you mean? What it's supposed to be? No, each show gets one representative. I'm pulling a veto. I veto.
Yo, what's
What's the
Jay?
They get to be on. They get to be on the same show together. Like
Yeah,
as a team.
exactly. What's
And then y'all on the same show. That's not fair.
what's Lynn and
You
Kim?
ain't even gonna split them up.
Nah. What's Lynn and Kim without Lynn
Oh, she
and
said,
Kim?
yo, money. She said, why we crying?
Exactly.
Oh.
Ask them again, man. Why they crying?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's
Wow. Okay.
okay. Don't worry about it. I will talk to you tomorrow, man. Get off my phone.
That's right.
I ain't,
That's right.
no, man. It's not at the same show.
Oh man, this is gonna be great.
We got words. Yeah, it's gonna be great, Jay. I'm excited, man.
This is gonna be great.
What? Anyway,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. They record.
so-
They record tomorrow night. I'll get them.
Yeah, but the dynamic of this second episode, though, it's gonna be awesome because it's gonna be Lynn and Kim together, you and Pooh against each other, and Alvin against his son. This shit gonna be dope. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm gonna send Josh. I'm gonna send Josh to represent. Nah, Josh ain't gonna be able to make it. Josh always gonna try to get out. Josh and Micah will probably be in Alaska somewhere. Ain't no telling.
Who gonna represent Hearts for Hoops?
Nah, we can't.
Now, yo, I might get Trey on there, freshly signed off to South Carolina. I'm gonna see if you can fit him in. I'll see if he want to be on. He'll be on if you want. If we can get him on.
He got to take
I
some
know he'll
spot
do it.
then.
Oh, nah, we'll leave him off there. Kids, we don't want to put the kids on there.
We'll wait and do
Do
a
something.
high school friendly version of.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
Jay, did you get you saw my text where I was like, yo, that's actually a great idea for a dope ass show that we just do like once a month or once a quarter.
It is, and then me and Scott immediately laughed at you because you have no idea how hard it is to get this shit situated for one time. Yo.
True.
Yeah.
I know it's been real.
Yeah.
But we could talk about it.
You can talk about it. You can talk about it and figure this shit out. I'll gladly be a contestant. I ain't doing this shit more than once a year. But yeah, I mean, one thing I've learned, and thank you, Jason, for stepping up and representing our listeners. But one thing I've learned through this process is listeners like to be listeners. They do not want to come on the damn show. Unless one of your listeners is also a podcaster like Jason. But yeah, so it was hard as hell getting one listener to like, a lot of people I got was like, man, I don't feel comfortable talking on air, or I don't have a voice for a podcast. So it was a stretch to try to find somebody, that was, I ain't coming on there. I don't know nothing about no trivia. So it's, I like listening to y'all. I don't want to talk. So
True.
yeah. So I ain't,
we do this.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope. Speaking of listeners, our first listener question, and this is I guess in paying homage to Stan Lee's passing. Tavares from Atlanta. It's a good question, though. I'm interested to see what y'all got to say. Gerald, you first. What athlete best matches which Marvel character, in your opinion?
Oh God. I actually put some thought into this, and I'm gonna say since I'm a Panthers fan, and our team already has two dudes on it with superhero nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just go with Superman Cam and Captain America Luke Kuechly.
Okay. All right. Well,
If that wasn't
can
a
be
biased
Superman.
answer,
Yeah. All right. Well, although Superman is DC, we'll take that.
Oh, my bad. You right. Damn,
We'll take
I
it.
forgot.
You gave us Captain America though. That's cool.
Okay, yeah. I spent 20 minutes thinking about that shit.
That's all right. You got a double dip there, so I like that. Tavares, I hope you enjoyed the DC and Marvel combination. Yosh, what about you? Which athlete best fits a Marvel character?
first off, the question I have to ask, and I'm trying to make sure because I'm not sure, is would Deadpool be considered a Marvel character?
Deadpool is a Marvel character.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, Draymond Green is Deadpool.
Oh, that is great.
That's dope.
That is pretty.
That is dope.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, that's mine. Draymond Green is Deadpool.
That is pretty great. Okay. Pooh, what about you, man? Which athlete best fits a Marvel character?
Can it be does it have to be a current player?
No, I guess he didn't say.
Oh, okay. I probably would say Brian Dawkins is Wolverine.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna throw this out there as a Steelers fan. I'm going James Conner as Juggernaut.
Okay.
As the hard charging running back of the Steelers.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll go there. All right, Tavares.
Or Jerome. I would pretty much figure you went with Jerome Bettis.
Well, I went with a current player. So, of course, yeah, Jerome Bettis. Yeah, that's, wow, yeah. He could be.
Yeah, only Pooh went out the box. Like, Pooh got to be current player.
Yeah. But, I guess I could pick pretty much, a long line of Steelers running backs to be Juggernaut. We talking about Connor, talking about Bettis, talking about Franco Harris, John Henry Johnson. So, yeah. There you go.
Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, that's right.
Le'Veon would be more.
Yeah,
I guess he could. He was a big dude.
He could be. Yeah, he could be a Juggernaut.
Yeah. I guess all of them except for Willie Parker could be Juggernaut. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tavares. Good question. Damn, I like that Draymond and Deadpool.
That's dope.
That's dope. Okay. Next question from Sandra in Charlotte. One of your neighbors asking questions here.
Yeah.
This gonna get pretty interesting. Me and Pooh actually almost got into a fight over this subject a long time ago. Something around this subject. Sandra wants to know, Pooh, who is the greatest R&B group of all time? A little bit of background here. See Pooh chuckling. Me and Pooh almost got fighting over R. Kelly, Jamie Foxx conversation a long time ago. We won't go into details. But
is that a group? But that's not a group.
No, it's not. But it's R&B related. There was some R&B beef going on in the apartment, but we won't go into that. So we won't go into detail. Thomas Stevens, who's the best R&B group of all time?
Best R&B group, rhythm and blues. I guess I'm probably gonna have to say I really don't have a lot of thought. Probably Jodeci.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not bad. Charlotte's own Jodeci. There you go, Sandra. Well, Charlotte-ish. Yosh, who's the best R&B group of all time?
New Edition.
Oh yeah, I'm bugging.
Man,
New Edition.
I was about to say,
I'm
somebody
bugging.
don't say New
Just-
Edition. It's gonna be some
Just
more
for
R&B
the
beef going on.
longevity, the songs. That I mean, they hit it on a lot of different the choreography. Hit me off,
man.
Like all that. I mean, it's just. Oh God, man, where you been at? That's off one of their last albums.
I thought that was Velvet before. Oh, but I
God.
Edition. Yeah, but
That's new edition.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Don't put that on trivia. Who will lose?
That'd be like Money saying Bell Bill DeVoe saying I want to sex you up.
I just knew it was right.
Sing the song and everything. Ooh, yeah. That's Bell Biv DeVoe.
That's right, baby. Man, that shit 95.
New edition, man.
I heard.
Oh, man. Yeah, Money. Can You Stand the Rain? What is the best R&B group of all time?
Hey, man, because you all know I'm a lot younger than y'all boys, so I'm gonna go with little group more than my flavor and my liking, man. I probably listen to every single one of their albums 1,000 times over. Who asked this question? Sandra and Charlotte.
Yeah, but if you say B2K, we fighting, man. Go ahead.
Girl, you gonna Sandra, find me so we can listen to these 112 albums. Let's get it. 112. Greatest R&B of all time. You know, I fucks with 112. Okay. Album 1. Cupid's probably my favorite R&B song of all times, man. Okay. That shit crazy. You know, part 2, part 3. Oh, no, 112, man. 112. Let's get it.
Yeah, 112 was dope. I've had to roll with Yoshi on New Edition. If I had to throw another one out there, Josie was great. 112 was dope. Boys the Men, I'd have to throw in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I was gonna say that. But New Editions, that's my bedrock. I gotta roll with them. But yeah, Pooh, we'll finish our beef at another time, sir. Somebody asked who's the greatest R&B male vocalist of all time. Me and Pooh gonna have it out. So just letting y'all know.
Who won the fight though?
I don't know, man. We just started singing, and we got a sing off. We started playing CDs and all kinds of shit. Man, listen to this. Right? So yeah, we ain't never get to the fight. We just got drunk and started singing.
And since I know y'all, I can see that shit right now.
What you saying?
I can see that shit right now. I just saw y'all in my head going back and forth.
What you mean?
Yeah.
With two different radios. Listen to this verse. Listen to this verse right here.
Yeah. Man.
No, you listen to this verse.
Man.
The same way we do about rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we had cell phones back then, it would have been over. We've been Googling and YouTube and all kind of shit up in the house. But
man, listen, that's funny.
Oh man. All right. Thank you, Sandra. I'll shoot you Gerald Hedrick's number. So y'all can check out those 112 albums. And I hope your husband doesn't mind. Just explain to him you just define life. And
that's right.
You'll be back after midnight. But yeah.
And if you do mind, my name is Yoshi.
No.
Hey, I'm good with that.
Moving on.
I got your back, Money.
Man.
I fucks with y'all.
Oh boy, I always gotta speed past some shit Yosh about to say. I can't take it.
What?
I always gotta just move on before Yosh say some shit get us all in trouble. Okay, so no t-shirt.
See this? I think this is why y'all don't have me on the show like that, man. Because I be saying shit. I'm assuming I got some fans out there, so I need y'all to advocate for me to be on the show more.
Can't sell no Defy Life gear with Yoshi around.
Man, I'm out there pumping, man. I be trying.
Oh, man.
I be trying to defy life, man. You guys will be the one to let me in, man.
Boy.
You gotta let me be me.
Every week, what was he about to say? What was Yusuf about to say? I can't tell you what he's about to say. I don't even want to know what he's about to say.
Something crazy. Something crazy.
Did he say something crazy? Did you edit it out? No, I did not edit it out. I just kept it moving.
Hey man, listen, I still haven't come back from the big draws conversation.
Oh man, yeah. Oh man.
The comment I got was, "Well, I don't wear big draws." That was the comment I got.
No, we are not opening that conversation back up either. Yoshi, NFL, Yoshi. What? Oh man, that part scared me because I knew where you was going. I was like, shut up.
Hey.
Like,
boy, listen, that conversation was so crazy.
You know, I was like, somebody gonna cut his mic off right now. I'm not gonna deal with that. Hey. The repercussions of that statement tomorrow. Oh man.
Oh man.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yosh, we ask this question every week. After week 10 in the NFL, what do you know? After week 10,
I know that my Giants can't even win at losing.
Explain that,
like,
sir. Explain
like, damn, like all we had to do was keep losing, and we end up with the first pick in the draft. And we can't even do that shit right. Like, niggas out there playing for real, playing hard. Like, sit your ass down. Like, there's no reason to. They done traded off damn near everybody. Whoever they holding on to, they waiting for next year. I mean, damn, like, just shit, sit down. Like, lose for the next 2 years so we can get Tua. Or somebody talk Tua into doing something crazy. I don't know. But shit, like, it gotta be, this ain't life. That's what I know. What do I know? What do I know now? This ain't life.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, I found myself rooting for them yesterday and then was mad when they won. Like, how that shit work? Like, I don't even know how that works.
They look good, though. Like, that was...
About 6 weeks too late.
Yeah, that's true.
Against a 2-17 with a quarterback that was on the practice squad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's one thing I realized. I actually missed a happy Odell Beckham. Like, it's games are fun when he's happy and catching touchdowns.
Oh, he was balling. I will say this. He was balling last night.
He was.
And that even, like, I think the commentator said he makes a missed touchdown catch look exciting.
Yeah.
Like that one-handed grab he almost caught. I was like, damn, boy. Man, about to have me run out the seat.
Yeah, I was like, Eli, just put it in his vicinity, man. This shit is fun when Odell's involved. So
just put it there.
He's very, very fun to watch.
Yeah,
and I think running back's very special. Oh God, name is
Saquon
Barkley. Yeah, I think he's
Saquon,
a special talent.
As some folks call him, Saquon.
As long as he learns, if he puts his foot in the ground and just starts going north and south, he likes to bounce it outside too much, and I just think
that's because that boy can put his 2 feet in that grass.
Yeah, but that was my only knock on him coming out last year. Is sometimes he just won't take the hard 3 yards and call it live to fight another down, but that's something he'll learn. I guess if yeah. So, all right, Thomas Stevens. After week 10 in the NFL, what do you know?
Well, I really, really want to be biased about this, but
man, be biased.
I'm not gonna comment on my Bears.
Oh
man, they beat Detroit.
I know. It's not about Detroit, brother. But
Detroit.
I know this, that if I know that the Buffalo Bills have a playoff defense, whatever that means. If they have a quarterback that's not constantly, throwing interceptions or fumbling the ball all over the place, they can win some games, man. Their defense is one of the top 5-6 D's in the game. They're absolutely solid, and that's what I know. That's what I know.
Man, it's not like that team wasn't a playoff team last year.
No. Unfortunately, that defense has.
But they had an overhaul though. They have like 6-7 new players on D.
Yeah, same system, no?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that defense has 11 other teammates on the other side of the ball.
That's true.
That's true.
And
I mean, did you
that offense is so bad.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
They play well against the Jets.
Nah, Barkley actually looked like a quarterback.
Yeah, Barkley
I
looked
mean,
good.
that's because you compared him to Nathan Peterman. But yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but Barkley actually looked like
No, he looked like a quarterback. He really
like
did.
a quarterback. I was listening to the Dan Lebatard show, and he was like, "Yo, everybody needs to be fired. The concession stand workers, whoever thought it was a good idea to keep starting Nathan Peterman needs to be fired."
Yeah.
So Barkley only been there for like 11 days.
11 days and was balling.
Yeah. Balling. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was it. He did. I mean, like you said, Pooh, man. Like they got a team around it. Like I still feel like they shouldn't have got rid of Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, the kid really didn't fuck up that much to make him say, "Yo, this kid who's gonna throw 5 interceptions in the first half is better than me."
That's
you
crazy.
know what I mean?
That's
like,
crazy.
He didn't fuck up at all. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. He only took him to the playoffs. So, I mean, you know, you kind of, you know, I don't know. Like they say, it's a business, but sometimes these people outthink themselves. Yo, this Peterman kid, yo, he can fall out the bed and not throw an interception. Yo, they had a stat on Dan Lebatard. Now, I listen to a lot of sports talk radio. The stat was Aaron Rodgers would have to throw an interception on 1,676 consecutive passes to have a worse quarterback rating than Nathan Peterman has.
Wow. Yeah.
It's berserk.
Damn.
Like to have a worse quarterback rating, 1,000. They said he wouldn't even get to that because at some point Mike McCarthy would sit his ass down.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 consecutive. Every time you drop back the pass, throw a pick. Like that's crazy. And you just, you know what I mean? Like that's horrible. Like they was comparing that man to the worst quarterback they've ever seen in life.
Yeah.
Nathan Peterman.
Yo, listen, they was going in on that. Nathan Peterman, like, I'm getting paid, but I'm not happy today because they went in on that man. I can't even come outside. My kids can't go to school today.
The Bills released him.
The Bills released him.
Yeah.
He don't have no job.
Yeah. Once they saw Barkley, they was like, oh, that's what a quarterback looked like. Man, get rid of Peterman.
Like the old what's the old Eddie Murphy? What's the old Eddie Murphy joke? He says, you think that girl gave you the bomb? You know, you ain't had sex in a minute, and she did. You know, like if you was real hungry and she gave you a regular old cracker, like, oh shit, what's that? That's a Ritz cracker. Damn, that cracker good. That cracker good. And then after you done had the same crackers every day, you realize ain't nothing but a regular old saltine. It's a regular old goddamn cracker. Shit, damn, Barkley about to be a regular old goddamn cracker after a while.
Yeah,
just in relation.
Yeah, like at this point, they just happy he can get the snap from the center. Like they just
right.
They just like, oh, you're supposed to throw it forward. Okay,
right.
They standards are
to
just
my
that low.
to my dudes.
Yeah, exactly. Like they
so
on my team.
The jersey, not the people in the other. Okay.
And then Josh Allen comes back week 12, and back to that shit. So yeah, let's see. But
I just want to see if McDermott gets fired. I just him and Ty Bowles are in trouble, man.
Yeah, Ty Bowles is in trouble. No,
but I don't. Does Ty Bowles have complete control over that? I don't think he has complete control over personnel.
No, he doesn't.
Don't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, I will say the rookie quarterback may buy Ty Bowles another year.
I think he probably gets another year.
Yeah, amen.
I know what's name need to be fired. Oh God, Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, Marvin. Yeah, I mean the whole AFC North outside of Mike Tomlin gonna be replaced.
You think John Harbaugh get replaced?
They've already pretty much confirmed that unless Harbaugh makes a push for the playoffs and makes it to the playoffs, he's done. They're gonna part ways with him.
What if he switched quarterbacks? Think that'll save him?
I doubt it.
See, he been living and dying with that bum for years.
Yeah.
He's starting Sunday.
Yeah. He's
Who?
Lamar.
Lamar?
Yeah.
Nah, I will say this. I think Lamar got something special in him.
Yeah.
It's just, when he had that his senior year, well, his last year, he kind of fell. His stock fell, but I still think he did well. And I think he'll do well.
Yeah, and he actually had a better year than he did the year before. It's just that he wasn't new no more. So, once you, I say this about quarterbacks all the time in the draft, is we build you up to tear you down. So they're going to spend that year before building him up, and then the next year we nitpick the hell out of him. But Harbaugh, I think, with Lamar there, I think Harbaugh and Flacco are done in Baltimore. And I think they're going to bring in an offensive-minded coach to kind of get the most they can out of Lamar. But yeah, so Hughes already gone, and now he's in Cincinnati. That's crazy. And, I think Marvin
Lewis couldn't wait to bring him back.
Yeah. So Gerald, what do you know? After week 10,
man, I know that the Steelers aren't that good, and we aren't that bad. As that game on Thursday night. That's what I know. I got people out here panicking and carrying on. I'm like, it was we picked a great night to have a horrible game, and they probably played the best game that I don't know. But I know on a typical football night or football day, a team is not that good and a team is not that bad. Not good teams.
I got a question. Like, y'all ever got like a whooping when like you were supposed to go to bed and you didn't? And like mama just like beat the shit out of you? Like that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers was telling Carolina, you need to go to bed. Just go to sleep. You need to go to bed. I told you go to bed, and you out here still playing. Go to bed. Like
I got company.
I got company. Take your ass to bed. Then I tell your ass go to bed. Like that's
Meanwhile, Panthers stepping out of bed, dancing through the kitchen with the Spiderman singing New Edition.
Yeah.
What mama doing?
Mama, candy girl. Boy, if you don't take your ass to bed, put some drawls on.
You already know.
Oh man. Yeah. I said the same thing, man. Like it was one like we've you play Madden and like you get to like the playoffs and you playing against the computer and like the first pass you throw, they pick it off with one hand. Then you get the ball back and you're running back, fumbling. The first thing you say is it's just gonna be one of them games.
It's one of them games.
It's one of them games. We just ain't gonna win. The computer's not gonna let you win, and that's what that shit just reminded me of. It was just like this one of them games. As enjoyable as it was to watch, like by the time the game was over, as a Steelers fan, I'm just like I couldn't even talk trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's just one of them games. Like it'd be different. Like if it was a competitive game, and it's just that they just both polar opposites just happen to show up for the same game. And so it happens. And as a Panthers fan, so I was telling this dude I work with, he's a Panthers fan. I was like, man, he complaining, going. I was like, man, look, at the end of the day, it's just one win for us, one loss for y'all. And you don't even watch film on that shit. That shit's so bad, you don't even watch film on it. You move on to the next week. Because ain't nothing you can gain from it. You know what I'm saying? It's just done. And
now y'all did do some shit to us that I haven't seen a team try in a couple of years.
But but everything worked though. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have ran the wing T and that shit probably would have worked that night. You know, like,
well, I mean on D. I mean really on D. Like y'all did some shit to our O line. Y'all did some shit to our O line that I really haven't seen work.
Yeah.
in a couple of years, and with the O-line and Cam with that late delayed blitz to kind of, so when you send your DMs out real wide, and then you delay blitz, and then you delay blitz the gaps, and then run stunts. Like I haven't seen the team do that since Denver in the Super Bowl. But you really have to have like special person. That's how I know y'all defense should be a lot better than what it is, because you have to have a special D. You have to have a special D with special personnel to even kind of run that. But we haven't seen it in a while, so I really think it kind of shocked us. But yeah, it was, you know.
Yeah. But and what I think gets lost in the first 3 weeks of the season is still his defense has actually been number one in the league over the last 6 weeks. But it's just that narrative was kind of written in the first. So they got a hell of a defense, and their blitzes are really exotic. But that's what I was going to say is, like, even to do that shit, like, everybody don't have Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt and T.J. Watt and Vince Williams and Bud Dupree. Like, everybody don't have that kind of personnel, so everybody can't do that to y'all. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And everybody don't have, like, Keith Butler, as many warts as he does have, he's excellent at drawing up blitzes. He comes from the Dick LeBeau tree, so he's going to have that. But, you know, like Colin Cowhurst, and Colin Cowhurst is kind of one of those dudes that either he's way off to me or he talks enough, but eventually he's going to say some shit that's spot on, right? And he said, the Steelers remind me of Mike Tyson, and the Patriots remind me of Muhammad Ali. And it took me a second to figure out what he was saying. He was like, you know, whenever you would watch Muhammad Ali fight, even if he didn't win, you felt like he was the smartest fighter in the ring. You know, with the angles and the precision, and he always showed up to fight. As opposed to Mike Tyson, who was a lot like the Steelers, like they were against Carolina, they're going to be highly entertaining. If you blink, you might miss the whole game. Like Carolina came out, they were up 7. 11 seconds later, they were down 7. That's Mike Tyson. You know, you wake up on the canvas and like, what the hell happened? I was just winning, and next thing you know, you're in the hospital. But they fight somebody who actually gives them a fight, and they may not show up. You know, or they play Tim Tebow in the playoffs and they don't show up. So yeah, there was that kind. It was a Mike Tyson night for the Steelers. They showed up and everything was working. Like Big Ben was efficient and he was explosive. Like everything, like nothing didn't work. So I just kind of chalked it up. I enjoyed it while it happened, and I couldn't even take any like enjoyment of like talking trash afterwards, because I was like, it's just one of those nights. That shit will never happen again. Not this season.
I wasn't. Yeah, no, that's and that's why I didn't. You know, had it been in the inverse, I would have felt the exact same. I would have been like, hey, that's just, woo, like that's just one of those things.
Yeah, I've had fun watching the highlights since then, but I was like, can't take nothing from it, you know, like you know, unless we see y'all in the Super Bowl, then I can be like, let's have that shit happen again. But
exactly.
So. All right. One thing I know after week 10 is I love my friends, man. I love my friends so much, and I mean y'all. I love y'all so much, Keon Small included, that I love Keon Small so much that he makes me hate the Falcons. That's what I know. I have like any other time in my life, I've never paid attention to, other than when my brother was playing for him. But when I never paid attention to the Falcons, really don't have no feeling towards them. But now that I get to talk trash to Keon Small all the time, I love it when they lose to the Browns. It was nothing more enjoyable to me than watching the fucking Falcons losing to the fucking Browns. That was great.
That really was great.
That was awesome. And so now, like, Keon Small, you think I ain't got you figured out. But now you don't show up on shows and you want your own podcast because now your boys trash. You ain't smart, nigga. I know you. Because I guarantee you, if y'all was 10-1, your ass would be front and center on the Defy Life Podcast. But that's all right. I got you figured out, sir. But yeah, that's what I think I know is I love my friends so much they make me hate football teams. So shout out to you, Keon, with your sorry ass team. You and Rodney. again, y'all, you people don't know who Rodney is, go back to episode 3 of the Defy Life Podcast. You might have a Rodney McDaniel mention. Who knows? Shout out to you, Rodney.
Right.
So, all right. We touched on it a little bit last week, but now that it's official, Gerald, Le'Veon Bell decided to not show up for the 4 p.m. deadline on Tuesday and forego the 2018 season. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with his approach, and how do you think it'll pan out for him?
I don't. Hey, I said it last week. I wasn't really understanding what his goal was, but I guess he's gearing up for 2019 free agency. I guess I really wanted to see, just because I'm a Le'Veon Bell fan, so I anytime you don't get to see him play while he's able to play, that sucks. Because I think anytime he's playing the game, you have an enjoyment about watching him play and whatever team he's playing for. But I don't know, man. I wasn't. Maybe it was like he's saving his body, or but I don't bash athletes for those type of decisions. So I'm not gonna start. Like, I just feel like whatever Le'Veon's thinking, he made the best decision for himself apparently. And I hope it works out for him, and I hope he gets the deal that he's looking for in free agency.
Okay. Thomas Stevens. Did he fall asleep?
No, I'm here.
Body different, B.
My body different, B.
No, I had my joint on mute because my son was talking.
All right, so really quick.
Your son's still up.
Yeah, he's sick, man. He in and out.
Oh, true.
Hope little man feels better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Vegas puts odds on everything, and immediately. So of course the odds of which team Le'Veon Bell plays for next have already been released. So, Pooh, I'm gonna go down the list. Tell me which ones you think are more likely, and I'll start from Vegas odds, which go from 3-1 at the top to 12-1 at the bottom. So, of these teams, you think will be the best fit and be the most likely? The New York Jets, 3-1 odds to sign Le'Veon. The Oakland Raiders, which may be the Vegas Raiders by then. Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, Baltimore Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, and Houston Texans. Which of those teams you think are more likely to be Le'Veon's landing spot?
Wow. I probably would say the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
That's a pretty solid, and I know that what's the coach name? Peterson. I definitely know he likes to. Yeah, Doug Peterson. He likes to go after his guy. If he likes it, he doesn't hesitate. He'll go out there and go after it, just like McVay. They'll just go after their guy. So I think he likes what Lev can do. I think his style will fit their system. I think it'll be seamless. So I like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
You think the Eagles are willing to pay?
That's what I was just about to say. Willing to pay that money, as well as knowing that they got Carson Wentz to extend soon.
They do got Carson Wentz to extend, but I mean, paying what? I mean, because I don't think no one's going to offer him. Maybe I don't think he's going to get offered. The over the 50, 50 to 55. Probably a $42 million signing bonus. I think they can handle that and handle Wentz, because all they have is Cox with the big deal, right?
Yeah, Cox.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, that'd be interesting.
You don't know about that one. The Rams got 8 big deals, so the Eagles can't afford 4 big deals.
Yeah, but it's the
No, I'm
Rams,
saying
the
I don't
Rams
know.
got
I don't know
8 big
who else
deals.
they have.
Yeah, like the Rams got 8 big deals, but the majority of them are like short-term contracts. And the key about
almost
the Rams,
like a 1-year deal.
Yeah, and the key about the Rams is like they signed all those deals last year when they were 3 years away from having to extend Goff. I don't think you're gonna see the Rams make that same kind of like moves this year when they got Goff coming up.
Yeah, don't forget they were horrible a couple years. Like they still got a lot of dudes paying they still got a lot of dudes on them rookie contracts from the years they were, a couple years ago when they were horrible, and they had a lot of draft picks.
So this is Wentz's 3rd year, right?
This is Wentz's 3rd year, but generally, quarterbacks they sign them with 2 years left on their deal. So it's his 3rd year.
So the money won't
so
hit the 2 years later.
Well, it depends on how they structure it, but
okay.
They don't want him going. You don't want a quarterback going into a franchise tag year. You know what I'm saying? So he'll go his 4th year, and then the 5th year will be a team option, which nobody lets their quarterback play on the team option if they want to keep him. Like only teams that really do that is like if you got Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, you let him play on his or Blake Bortles. You let them play on their 5th year option. But a dude like Wentz that you're going to keep, you don't let them get to that 5th year option. You lock them up
right
before it gets in jeopardy.
Right.
So that's probably what they're going to end up doing with with Wentz and with Goff too. So I can't imagine like the Eagles having that kind of signing spree like the Rams did, because they're going to have Wentz, and then they just restructured Fletcher Cox's contract, for that big deal that he has. So I don't even know how much room they're gonna have to make that deal.
Didn't
Cox.
So you're thinking they're gonna go ahead and redo Wentz this year coming up?
After this year, yeah, probably so.
Okay, because I guess that will be both deals done in 1 year, but I guess that's two different caps though, because let's say because the Rams did Gurley's deal this year too, correct? Mm-hmm. And you're saying that you think they're gonna do Goff's this year as well?
Well, they did Gurley's deal this past off season.
The off season, okay.
Yeah. They did Gurley's deal before the season started.
Before,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yo, which of those you think would be more likely for Le'Veon?
I don't know. I think the best spot for Le'Veon is to stay exactly where he is. Oddly enough,
that's interesting.
On the streets,
on
the streets.
No, I mean not in the streets.
I know,
but just with Pittsburgh, I mean, you have a very good quarterback. You have pretty good, a really good wide receiver core. You got an okay to good line play. I'm pretty certain with the emergence of Connor that just made longevity in Le'Veon Bell's career, because he doesn't have to tote the rock as much. He can get out, split, play a little bit more slot, and that might open up his pay a little bit. To me, that makes a little bit of sense. I don't think the Jets. I don't think the Jets is a good fit. I don't think any other team really fits other than him wanting to get his money. Now, that's like I said. That's just my analyzation. If he's thinking longevity of his career, the amount of money he can make over time, I think that's a better business play. If I'm him, that's the business play I make. Now, do I disagree with what he's doing? No, I don't. I think that in the landscape of what we in the NFL or anything where your body is your commodity and you are technically a business, and teams treat you as such, as the teams treat you as property, whatever leverage you have to do whatever you can do, you got to do. Now, do I agree with how he's doing it? No. I don't agree with how he's doing it. I do agree with, I think, to a certain degree, we're going through the same thing Barry Sanders went through years ago, where he wanted to just be traded out of Detroit, and Detroit had a hard line in the sand. But the only difference is, I think Barry wasn't up for free agency, and Le'Veon is actually up for free agency after this year. So he's in a better position power-wise, I guess if he wants to call it power, than Barry was. But at the same time, sometimes you gotta, I always tell my players and my students, you always gotta take, you always gotta look at where your bread is buttered. And if he wants to look at it like this, the emergence of Connor actually helps his career in Pittsburgh if he was to stay. If I'm him, I probably would have reported today. That would have been like, and I could only speak for myself, because I'm looking at it from, now I don't have to put the mileage on my legs. I'm probably in the league for more years. Pittsburgh will pay me not as much as I want, but wants and needs are two different things. So not as much as I want, but it's a boatload of money. But that's what, on the outside looking in, we can say that because we ain't making that money. To them, it's not. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, in the point of what he's doing, I don't disagree. But how he's doing it, that's where I start to come it out. Like, I think that if you weren't, now there was a point brought up that he was going to report, but he somehow, that's why he came to Pittsburgh, but he somehow got some information within the collective bargaining agreement that caused him to sit out. That caused him to say, man, fuck this, I'm gonna sit out. And it was something that he can use to his advantage. But if it wouldn't have, they said he would have reported. And since he's not, now, I will say this, the fact that he hasn't, I think, helps the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because now that he hasn't, this is a foregone thing. Like, okay, he's out. We don't have to answer any more of these damn questions. They probably got to answer it for about another week. And then after that, it's old news. Now, Le'Veon Bell becomes irrelevant. When I mean the how,
till the offseason.
I mean, till the offseason, but to now, I mean, for right now. And here's the thing. Is somebody going to pay him? Yes. Are they going to pay him what he thinks he's worth? No. Because his market value has dropped. I don't care what nobody says. His market value dropped. I just, without playing, like, people are going to say, okay, well, that's fine. You happy not making his bread? That's fine. Sit out. Continue to sit out, because, and then he's going to end up taking a lesser deal than he would have gotten even from Pittsburgh. Because at this point, now you become desperate to work, because no matter what anybody says, these guys have a lifestyle to live, and you got to pay these bills. You got this big ass house, you got to pay the taxes on the house, and I think that he's going to end up taking a lesser job. But Rams out.
I don't know, yo.
I just don't see anybody. I think Pittsburgh was the one place that he could have possibly gotten. What I'm saying is, let's say he would have played this year. If he would have came in and played, I think he ups his stock more than sitting out. Not only what he did. Let's say he did this. Let's say he did it right. And he told Pittsburgh, listen, I'm not coming. He let it be known to the media, I'm not coming. I'm going to wait to free agency. I will forego this season to wait for free agency. Let's say that's what he did. He comes out a whole lot better than what he did. Fuck upside down tweets and showing up in Pittsburgh and not showing up. You in Pittsburgh, but you don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's wild.
Trying to make yourself relevant when apparently the team has moved on and has been successful without you. I think that hurts you. I'm not saying he won't get paid. I'm just saying what he's looking for, I don't think he necessarily will get. unless he gonna play for our Sisters of the Poor, and then even the Giants don't want him because shit, we got a running back. You know what I mean? Like, and he's at a position that's not valued anyway. Like, I don't see it. Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest key is ain't nobody paying a running back that much. Nobody paying a running back.
So you don't,
huh?
So you don't think he's gonna get the Todd Gurley deal?
No, I'm saying as much as he wants. He wants more than Todd Gurley got.
Get that.
Yeah, it's like even he wants like receiver money, which would be 17, 18 million a year. If he wants like 40, 45 mil guaranteed. I don't think.
But I keep hearing he's so amazing that if you let him play receiver, he'd be a top 5 receiver.
He's no.
I keep hearing he could do anything.
From who?
No, we're not. That's the thing. I'm not debating. My point is not the debate,
but
of his skill set.
But even his skill set, like you look at, like Le'Veon Bell's a great slot receiver when he's a running back and he's in the slot and he's matched up against linebackers and safeties.
That's the point I was about to make, Jay.
Le'Veon Bell is not a good slot receiver if you make him a slot receiver and he's got to go against a nickelback and real cornerbacks. He's a matchup problem. You get what I'm saying? He's a matchup like chess piece. He's not somebody. Right. He wouldn't be a top receiver if you played receiver. You couldn't put him in. He can't be Danny Amendola or Julian Edelman out of the slot. Or Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a running back who's a matchup piece. So yeah, you bring him in at running back and you slide him and you motion him out to a receiver. Yeah, you got to slide a linebacker out to cover him. Of course he's gonna. Yeah, he's a matchup problem then. But like when this whole thing started before last offseason, he said I want to be paid like a top running back and a number 2 receiver. Well, okay, let's do that. And let's look at your numbers as a receiver. If we're looking at his numbers as a receiver, he's the worst number 2 receiver in the league. He only averaged 7.9 yards a catch. So, like, you can't have it both ways, right? So if you want to be judged as a receiver, we're going to judge you as a receiver. Which you, like, I've said again, if you look at his game, even as a rusher, Le'Veon's not an explosive player. He's a volume player. So he accumulates stats. He's not a guy who's going to break a bunch of runs and be a difference maker on a play-to-play basis. He's a difference maker on a game-to-game basis. Where teams have to scheme for him, and so it's different in the sense like it could go somewhere and he could look completely different. You get what I'm saying? He could go somewhere else, and as talented as he is, it could look completely different because, as we said last week, a lot of his success was built off of that scheme because they knew how to use him. And if you don't know how to use him, it could look pretty bad because if you got a running back, you paying $15 million a year, and you don't know how to use him, and Le'Veon's only going to it's not like he's going to come out and he's not the kind of athlete where, like Randy Moss, you can just put him in the offense, tell him to run deep routes, and he's going to get his. Adrian Peterson in his prime, you can just put him in the offense. He's a running back, strictly. You're going to put him at running back, get him 20 carries a game, he'll get you 120 yards. Le'Veon's not that guy. You have to know how to not only scheme against him, but when he's with you, you have to know how to use him. So if you come out and pay him $15 million a year and you just hand him the ball off to him, and you don't have the innovation to get him the ball in different ways, he's going to get you 3.9 yards a carry, and he's going to be a regular running back. That ain't what you pay for.
Right.
So he could go a lot of different places, and it just don't look right. Which is, I'm thankful. I hope he gets his money. I really do. I don't know if it'll. Again, it's a gamble of whether it works out somewhere else. Not only the scheme issues we just talked about, but he'll be 27 next offseason.
Yeah.
That's when running backs start to decline. And I really don't buy the notion that everybody's saying, including himself, well, I took a year off, I saved myself a year of wear and tear. Well, yeah, but I ain't never played in the NFL. And I can't do the same shit I did 5 years ago just because I ain't play football. There's a thing called life that takes wear and tear on you, and just aging in general. So there's no guarantee that holding out this year is going to add a year to the end of his career. It's an aging process that happens whether or not you playing football.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I liken this a lot to the Josh Norman situation when he was in Carolina and what people say. You know, like he could have played on the franchise tag. He didn't sign a 10-year. He was trying to get the long-term deal done, and everybody kept saying, "Why won't he just play for the $13.5 million that we're offering him?" Well, because over the course of 4 years, the 17 or 18 mil that he wants, that's $12 million. So I get it. For a 27, 28-year-old player, this is your last big deal. That's $12 million. So I get it. I get, and any one of us, and this is what I kept trying to explain to people, any one of us would have looked at y'all like, y'all some fools. Yeah, I'm about to make this extra 12. Are y'all crazy? You know, so, but what I don't get, if it's so to me, what I don't get, you want to play, you want to make 15 mil, but you could have played on that this year and made that, and then you could have. I don't. That's what I don't understand. I'll probably never understand it. And I'm okay with that, but he makes it seem like it's about the contract and about wanting to make that dollar amount per year, but he could have made that or damn near close to what he wanted this season. So I'm confused about why he didn't play. But like I said, I don't bash athletes for these type of decisions. I have a lot of respect for what they do, especially on the professional level. I hope he gets his money too. I hope he lands in a good spot. But I agree with both of you guys. If he lands with the Jets or whoever, man, or the Bill, wherever he is. If they don't scheme correctly, well, the Colts pass so much that he'll probably, 70% of their plays are pass plays. I mean, look, slinging that thing, and I think that may actually be a good fit. So I'll leave the Colts off, but if he ends up at a run first, but I don't have anybody that's going to stretch you out.
Freaking Mack had the running back,
right? Well, look, it's not lucky quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. For one, I hope Le'Veon gets his money. I really hope he does. Whatever he's looking for, he hasn't made it clear exactly what he wants. Apparently, obviously, it's guaranteed money. Otherwise, he would have took what the Steelers offered him last offseason. So it's the guaranteed money he's looking for. And it's what's important to him. Maybe he wants to win while he's getting paid. Maybe not. I don't know. What I do know is the NFL is not like the NBA and Major League Baseball, where the off seasons are so short. NFL's the off seasons are longer than the season actually. So if you think about it, by the time he plays another down of football, he'll have gone from January of 2018 to August of 2019. It's a year and a half of no live football action, and that kind of layoff, it makes you more successful. I can't talk. Susceptible to injury. Yeah, susceptible to injury than if he were actually playing. Right.
I agree.
So, you look at Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant came back. Dez Bryant ain't had injury issues, not debilitating injuries his entire career. What happens, he was off 8 months, comes back, second practice, tears an Achilles. That's what inactivity does. Is, those muscles you ain't used to working, those tendons that you are used to working, they're not as pliable as they once were. And a year and a half off for a running back is a long time. It ain't like, a year and a half off from rock climbing. Like, you don't get better at playing football by not playing football. So I don't know. I hope he gets his money. I'm with Yosh. I don't think he went about it the right way. Boy, let's see. Either way, the Steelers got $14 million extra in the salary cap for next year, so I'm good. We can actually sign us a cornerback who can cover somebody. I don't know, man. On to the NBA, man. Really quickly. What are your take? I want to get y'all's takes on the Jimmy Butler trade from Minnesota to Philly. Yosh, what were your thoughts on the Jimmy Butler trade?
I think nobody won in that trade.
Why you say that?
I think Philadelphia they were deeper before him, before he got there, and they lost some of their depth. I think that Jimmy Butler, although he brings something to the table, he's not a max deal guy. He's not a superstar. I think he's a star. I think he plays hard. I think he plays great defense. I think he has that Kobe and Michael mentality to him, where they just want people around him to play hard. But just like Kobe and Michael, it was tough to play with them. And it's tough to play with a guy who's not on that talent level. If you're demanding that, but you're not on that talent level. It's different when Kobe and Michael trying to talk shit to you than Jimmy Butler talking shit to you. It's like, all right, well, motherfucker, I'm doing the same shit you doing. You know what I mean? And
I just ain't gotta try as hard.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I'm here with you. Like, shit, you ain't got shit neither. I just think that Philly lost a bit. Not nothing to Jimmy Butler's character. I think he just wants to win. I don't think he's a bad teammate. I just think he goes about trying to win on that level, like I said, with Kobe and Michael. And it wears on you, especially if you're a younger cat who can't really deal with it. And so now it's going to wear on Joel Embiid. It's going to wear on Ben Simmons. It's going to wear on Markelle Fultz. It's going to wear on those young guys who like, yo, we was good without you. Like, we were straight. Like, we didn't need you. We good, but, thanks for coming. But, we didn't need you. And I thought it was the play by Minnesota was retarded. Like, I didn't understand that, because you give up Jimmy Butler when Houston was offering you the 4 first-round picks you was asking for. You just didn't want to give him to Houston. You know what I mean? Like, what was you looking for?
Nah, you don't want to trade Jimmy Butler to your conference, though.
No, you don't want to, but if it's 4 first-round picks versus what
that's tough, too. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Versus what you ended up with in the deal.
Well, I don't even know what they get.
They got Covington and hold on, I'll tell you.
Dario Saric.
Yeah, Yeah, like they got shooters back in the deal. They did get shooters back in the deal.
Yeah.
From
Covington's an all NBA first team defender, 3-and-D guy, and Saric, and who knows what Saric could be.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's no
winner. Sarge's a talent, though. He is a talent. I don't think either. Well, is it my turn?
No, I'm just saying for what, and I'll let you go. I'm sorry. Just for what, just for what they passed on, for that to be the deal they took.
Okay.
That's where they lost, and I think Philly lost by giving up shooters for a team. Markelle Fultz can't throw a rock in the ocean, and neither can Ben Simmons.
For a team that can't shoot, and they gave up their shooters. Yeah, that's
they
crazy.
gave up 2 shooters. Now the only shooter you have left is JJ Redick, and he's getting long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jimmy Butler can score,
Jimmy's
but he's not a certified three-point shooter.
He's serviceable though. For what they want to do, he's serviceable.
Who? JJ Redick? Or Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
I still feel like.
Although I will say
I don't think it translates. If you make that move, it's supposed to translate into a championship or at least a championship run. It didn't make them better than Boston. It didn't make them better than Toronto. I just don't think it moved them. It didn't move them from where they were.
Well, it was going to have to get two guys that end up better than Boston.
And possibly Toronto.
Yeah, so I mean that was maybe they thought they were closing the gap between them and Boston. But
shit, if I'm running a sprint against Carl Lewis in his prime, and shit, he gets some type of injury, he's still gonna beat me. I'm gonna close the gap, but his ass still gonna beat me.
True. Hey, well, I think they're gonna get beat anyway. But you know, I do think that.
See that response, Gerald? A trade of this magnitude should not make that be the response. You know what I'm saying? That should be where I gotta find the positivity, and I gotta go. Shit. Well, what really?
Well, that's why I said I don't think there's a winner. Like I think for what Philly, because I'm thinking about Philly's personnel, and I'm thinking that like, damn, Jimmy Butler really needs the ball to score, and he's not really a facilitator. Ben Simmons can't hit anything from outside the paint, but he also plays the point guard, so he's really the facilitator. I don't know it'll be interesting to see how they try to integrate Jimmy into the offense, just because Ben Simmons, he's extremely gifted and talented, but he needs the ball, and he needs the ball in that 3 in the key range to really be effective. And that's even when he gets 7, 8, 9, 10 assists. Like he usually gets that off of being in that area, you know. So, and I'm not taking anything from his game. I know he'll develop the outside shot eventually, but I don't see Jimmy Butler as a guy that's gonna really facilitate that offense, or maybe take some opportunities away from Simmons to facilitate the offense. So, but for now, maybe they kind of do the Miami, Dwayne Wade, LeBron thing, where they kind of run two kind of different teams at first. You know, where Butler might not be on the floor with Simmons as much. So I do like their coach. So I'm sure he'll figure out a way to kind of make it work. You don't get worse if you add a Jimmy Butler.
Pooh, you agree with that? You're a Bulls fan. You agree Jimmy automatically makes you better?
I think Jimmy makes you better. I think it's a lot of disrespect, on Jimmy and these guys. Whatever you're saying about Jimmy, I think you guys are slighting Jimmy. I mean, Covington and Surick, I don't think they equal a Jimmy Butler to me. But I mean, I really like Jimmy. He's just not a sexy pick, so to speak. But I think, Jimmy's extremely solid, and I like the move. I think Tibbs should definitely be canned. He should be fired for taking that for Jimmy. For leaving the 4 first-round picks and then a few other deals he left out there on the table just because he didn't want to trade in his conference. I mean, I think screw that. You take the best deal for the future because they're not going to win a ship anyway. Not right now. So whatever deal they're taking, it's for the future anyway. So I think Tibbs took a horrible deal for Jimmy.
And thus back to my point, I think that's where they lost. And I think that, and Pooh, I'm agreeing with you. I think Jimmy Butler is a solid player. I think he instantly becomes the best defender on that team. As far as an on the ball defender and an all out dog, yes, Jimmy Butler is that guy. Okay, I give him that. But at the end of the day, like, I just don't see where the move was like, yo, it's that significant, because you're talking about, my thing is, when we're talking about like deals like this, you're talking about Philadelphia making a championship run, because that's what their season expectations are. You know, it's not like they traded him to the Knicks and it's like, yo, you know, shit, we just want to get through this season and sign him to a long-term deal so he could play with the unicorn. It's not that. It's a, yo, this is a championship run. We need all the pieces we can get, and we believe that this and the third. I just don't think Jimmy Butler makes them. It didn't move them into a prime contender to contend from the East against the Boston Celtics and against the Toronto Raptors and against some of these others. There's a couple of other teams that are up that are not bad. That Indiana that can ball. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I just don't think it moves the needle that much, especially this part. It's early in the season, so yeah, can they catch their groove? Yep, I'm pretty certain they can. But at the end of the day, I just don't think they're talking about a big three. I don't see it. I just don't. I don't see it. And I'm not slighting Jimmy. I'm just saying Jimmy is not in the LeBron, Kawhi, and let's say, you know, that upper echelon of players conversation. He's in that next level with the Ben Simmons and those type of guys. You know, that's the level of where he is when you're talking about star appeal.
He's in a level of Ben Simmons.
Honestly, yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
And I'm not slighting him. I'm just saying that. I'm not slighting him. I'm just saying I don't like his fit with that personnel, because he is going to be playing with Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons has some serious weaknesses in his game right now where he needs the ball to be effective. And I don't, you know, and that's why what I said is it'll be interesting to see how they make it work. This is what I wasn't disrespecting Jimmy. I think Jimmy was a great player. By no means. I've got him ranked at like 16. So Jimmy's like,
if you tell me they trade Jimmy to Houston, I'm like, yo, Houston instantly, you know, jumps up a couple of levels instantly. You know what I'm saying? I think he instantly brings something to the table there. Like he becomes instant coffee at that moment. But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's where he is that I think kind of is like, okay. Like it makes you go, all right, that's cool. It's not, yo, now that's a move. You send him to LA, yo, that's a move. You know what I'm saying? In Philly, it's like, okay.
But to me, it sounds like it's more on what they don't have than what Jimmy is not. To me, what you're saying.
I mean, that's my point. Like my point is that there was no winner in the trade. Like this didn't affect. Like both teams kind of lost, because I'm gonna be honest. Like Money said, I don't think Jimmy fits with that personnel. Covington and the boys fit with that personnel. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like now, because he's ball dominant, because he's more of a ISO ball player, like you gotta kind of try to fit him into what their team concept is.
Right. Covington's a spot up shooter, and Sarge, even though he's a power forward, he's never in the paint. So Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons kind of rotate domination of the paint. If you think back to our earlier show when we asked me about LeBron James being in Philly, I said the same thing. I said, but LeBron dominates the paint, he's gonna stunt Ben Simmons' growth, because right now Ben Simmons needs the paint. You know, so I don't think it's a. And he doesn't dominate the paint.
Who, Ben
He
Simmons?
doesn't dominate.
No, I say
does.
Jimmy. What's that? Jimmy.
Jimmy doesn't dominate the paint, but he
No.
dominates the ball.
Yeah.
I don't see. If you go back and look, I know Cat took more shots than him, and I'm sure Wiggins wasn't far from taking just as many shots as Jimmy.
No, we're not talking about.
But I'm saying but what I'm saying, he's very efficient though. He's not like a 30 shot guy.
Yeah,
No.
Here's the thing. I agree with Yosh. I think bottom line is if Jimmy's your number one, he's your number one on a 5-6 seed. You ain't winning the championship with Jimmy Butler's your number one, right? And so I think the aspiration.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. And so it's not about knocking Jimmy as far as Jimmy is what he is at this point.
But I didn't think they brought him in for the number one though. I thought Embiid was the number one.
But that's what I'm saying is like, but
Jimmy wants to be number one.
Exactly. So Jimmy's mindset that he's coming in to be the number one. We heard Jimmy talk in his first press conference. It's pretty much what he said yesterday. Is if you listen to what he said, is he ain't coming to fit in. He coming to be the man.
Make waves.
And like I think the aspiration for Philly as a franchise is that Ben Simmons and Embiid grow into, even when it was just those two, it kind of alternated on whose team it was. So they're still growing into their roles. I think, right now for Philly, it is going to be kind of difficult to kind of massage those egos and set those boundaries and establish those roles. Because Jimmy, as Yo said, Jimmy comes in with that mindset of he's a fucking legend. And he's not. Nothing wrong with what Jimmy is, but Jimmy's not what he thinks he is. And so for him coming same way in Minnesota is he had to work with a lot of young players.
Another very, very young team, yeah.
Exactly. And Jimmy's thinking, man, I'm Jimmy Butler. And they looking at him like, man, you Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? Like, you nice, but you ain't special. And I don't think anybody is called Jimmy Butler special. Like, not in, relative to NBA levels. Jimmy's a very good player. But is he your lead dog? It's kind of the same thing we say about Kyrie. He's a very good player. But is he your lead dog on a championship team? I don't know. And so it's...
We'll see. We'll find out.
I don't know if Jimmy's...
So, but if the Celtics are so high on this pedestal, who's their lead dog?
Oh, it's pretty much well established that... Well, it's a two-part answer to your question. I think it's pretty much well established that Kyrie is kind of taking a back seat to Jason Tatum at this point.
But Tatum is the lead dog.
And then secondly, Boston has Jason Tatum is their lead dog, and then Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and Jaylen Brown, they have more quality depth.
Yeah, they have so many.
Yeah,
Smart.
so
Al
Horford. So it's not just
really
a big
some
three.
some nights Al Horford's the lead
Exactly.
dog.
Yeah,
it's not
Horford.
a big three. It's not a big three in Boston. You
mentioned Boston.
Danny Ainge is the best GM in basketball.
Yeah, and so when you look at Philly, you look at that big three, and you're like, who's the leader of that big three now? And if it's Jimmy Butler, they far pale in comparison to what Boston's holding right now.
I won't say that now. Don't now.
What?
Keep in mind
Danny
that
Ainge
Danny
is the best GM in basketball.
Well, Michael Jordan's still in the league now.
Yeah, keep in mind, and I kick myself all the time because remember, Boston offered us 3 of those picks to take our pick because they wanted Justice Winslow, and we wanted fucking Frank Kaminsky so bad that we turned the deal down.
Okay, I'm not saying. Here's the thing. I'm not saying, that
the pick
everybody
that
don't make mistakes.
Jason Tatum, and
I'm not saying that everybody don't make mistakes. But what I am saying is, when everything takes a little bit of luck. And
Yeah, you're right.
sometimes you put stuff out there,
and it ain't always
and
the deal
people
you
don't
make.
take it, and you end
It's
up
the deal
looking
don't
like a
make.
genius.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because think about how Boston got to where they got. They made that trade for a super old Garnett and Paul Pierce
And then they switched it over to Brooklyn.
to go to the Nets, and they got all them picks from the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to give those picks to us. We just didn't take the deal. I'm like, yo, you always take 9 picks over a player.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like, they was looking at it as magic beans. Like, yo, this is what we want, but like we don't know what that's going to be. And nobody, and truth be told, nobody knew Jason Tatum was going to be this. Like, I don't think anybody saw this. They thought he was going to be great. They thought, but nobody saw this. And who knows if Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are not hurt last year, does he become this? You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, he still becomes this.
No, I'm just saying. But fact remains. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, this year, he's regressed over last year. I think he played better ball last year than he's playing this year. This year, he's playing a lot of ISO ball.
Still early. It's still early.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of ISO ball. I think Kyrie, they're trying to reinsert Kyrie, reinsert Gordon Hayward.
Kyrie, and I was gonna say he hasn't regressed. Don't forget, man. They still got Marcus Morris. They trying to fit in guys. They got dudes coming off the bench that started games and play like they.
I will say this. Now they
just trying to fit in. They just trying to fit in who's gonna. I mean, dude, it's hard to get minutes from Marcus Smart. It's hard to get minutes for Terry Rozier. It's hard to get minutes from Marcus Morris. It's hard to get dudes that play ball. It's hard for them. It's hard to get those dudes on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I meant by that is I just think that, first off, let me say this: kudos to them guys, because a lot of those guys could have left and they stayed. Because if I'm Terry Rozier, I'm probably trying to get the freak up out of there because I can go someplace else and be a starter.
Well, he's still under contract. He ain't resigned. Only the person that resigned really was Marcus Smart.
But I mean, he could have done some. Like, at the end of the day, these guys, if they want to get out, there's things they can do to get out. Now, whether it's nice or not, it don't matter. They can get out of deals and get moved and this, that, and the third. If they really want to, they could do it. But the fact that he's happy, like Terry Rozier goes in there, plays hard, whether he's playing 5 minutes or 30 minutes, he go out there and plays and balls. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't let off the gas. So I mean, like, to be somewhere and to be happy somewhere is two different things. And those guys seem happy to be in Boston, and I just feel like, just like those guys in until recently, the guys in Golden State seemed to be happy. Until the foolishness that happened yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Or whatever it was that got Draymond Green suspended, which, if the reports are true, I'm probably suspended too. But, because I honestly...
everybody happy to their contracts up.
Yo, what you say? You ain't never told a lie.
Everybody's happy to their contracts up.
And it's time to re-up on that bread.
And it's time to re-up on that bread, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The only person that didn't have a deal in Boston was Rozier. Was Marcus Smart, and they found a way to bring him back.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you're here, you're happy, you're doing what you want, and you playing ball and you're playing happy, and everybody's doing what they do. Shoot, what else can it ain't? I just feel like I said, basketball is a funny thing, and it's funny sport. I think football is more straightforward. You do this, you do that, you read this, you read that. It's a lot more straightforward. Basketball, just for some odd reason, man, you trying to get individuals to play, people who can have individual success, play a team sport, without the need of anybody else. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and basketball is like completely integrated. Like, football is so specialized. Like, your left guard does not also have to turn around and play linebacker in an instant.
Yeah,
it's such a which is so basketball is you have to completely mesh, and like and it's so free flowing that it can change from one instant to another. So it's not as specialized as football is, which is why fits matter so much. And as good as somebody may be, and I don't think anybody's saying Jim is not good, but and there's only 5 players on the court for your team at once, as opposed, football, you got 10 other teammates. So you can hide somebody on a football field. You can't hide nobody on a basketball court. So if your best player don't match up against your opponent's best player, that one best player can, if the talent differential is that much of a difference, that one player can beat you. And that's what I think when I say, if Jimmy Butler's your lead dog, it ain't on a championship team, because you look at all the other championship level teams in the league, that talent differential between Jimmy Butler and their best player is really big. And Jimmy ain't leading to a ship. You better hope that those 2 young dogs kind of step it up. So, I don't know.
Oh, they ain't playing badly.
Nah.
I just don't know where the long ball gonna come from now.
I don't know. Reddick?
He already shoot 17, 18 times a game.
Yeah, no.
Reddick gets shots.
Maybe Fultz will get a shot back. I don't know. Well, really quickly before we get into trivia, speaking of playing badly, really quick, money. Where does Carmelo end up next?
I thought those rumors was not. I thought they got shot down.
They got shot down. They not letting him go.
I thought the GM came out and said, I don't know where this came from. We ain't letting Melo go nowhere.
I know he said that, but when is that at?
True. Oh, where does he end up next?
And it could be staying in Houston if you think so.
Well, I for now I think staying in Houston, but I don't know, man. Miami. To me, it's got to be a playoff team. That needs. Washington has some issues right now. Maybe Washington. I think he ends up maybe back in the Eastern Conference on a playoff contender, trying to, coming off the bench, trying to figure somebody who needs some scoring off the bench. So somebody like a Miami or a Washington. Maybe a Toronto's kind of intriguing. Some places like that. Indiana. Places like that. Teams that are going to be 4th or 5th in the East, vying for some scoring off the bench, not really a lot of defense needed type of deal. So a team like that.
Okay. Pooh, what do you think Melo ends up next?
Melo's done.
You can end it there if you need to.
Melo couldn't make it work there, man. Melo, but I do like the Toronto piece and the Indiana piece, but Melo's done, man.
Yeah, Yosh, where's Melo end up?
When you put this in the group, I really I had to think about it and think about fits, and I read a bunch of articles and what people were talking about as far as where it is, and currently he's going to be away from the team for the 3rd straight game, and they pretty much plan for him to stay away, and they're kind of reaching out to other NBA teams, but I mean, y'all might think I'm crazy, but I think the best fit for Melo is on power.
Melo filming his shots. That's what he doing. Melo's taking shots and filming.
You know what I'm saying? He come back in as old girl, ex-boyfriend or something like that. He team up with, he Kanan old cousin from back in the day, and he got to get some revenge. That's the best fit for him, because the basketball court ain't for him right now. I don't know if anybody's seen him play lately, but
I haven't seen him play.
Carmelo Anthony. That ain't Syracuse Carmelo Anthony. That's Carmelo Granthony. Like he's somebody granddaddy out there. Here's the thing. He couldn't play defense before. Couldn't play defense before. What the hell is he doing now? He's out there watching people score. And not only that, but and not only that, like if your specialization was scoring and you putting up damn near 2 points a game, like why are you here? You got your bread. Go ahead, join your wife in acting. I'm pretty sure
if there's one thing you ought to be able to do in a Houston Rockets jersey, is score.
Yeah. And then it almost seems as though his ineptitude was infectious, because I'm watching them boys pass the ball off each other's foot. Goddamn, James Harden can't hit a shot. Chris Paul can't find his rhythm. It's horrible to watch, man. It's sad, because it's always sad when you watch the decline of a player. But like people who just specialized in things such as was scorers, not necessarily, because Melo, I don't think we ever thought Melo was a shooter. He was just a prolific scorer. Absolutely. He could score all 3 levels. Like Ray Allen could get a job today because he could shoot the damn ball. As long as he can get open, he can shoot that bitch. Like he ain't had to put it on the floor. He ain't had to do much. All he had to do was have a sniff of space. He could shoot. Melo wasn't never really a great shooter. He just could score on all 3 levels. So when you take away the quickness, you take away the ability to bump and grind on the inside, you take away the mid-range, and then the fact that the 3-point shot was always inconsistent at best. I mean, shit. And then now you just taking pictures of people driving to the basket on you. I mean, and you out there just looking a fool. Man, go sit down. Go sit down. Like over there, sit down. Take some rest. Just rest yourself.
Yeah. And I say it all the time. Like, Carmelo was I always credit guys like LeBron and KD, for navigating and adjusting with how the game changed in the middle of their careers, right? Melo never did that. He stayed mellow his entire career, and the game passed him by, and now he's fighting it, and he's too old to fight it. His body can't do what he used to, and he can't get by with. He's not a good enough scorer, that he used to be, to make up for all of his deficiencies. And on top of that, the game has changed. So you can't be a ball stopper with an inconsistent 3 and be a starter in today's NBA. It just don't work. And Melo never put in the work to develop anything outside of his comfort zone. So, if this were, 2002, he could still be a very effective Melo, but not in this day and age of the NBA, because ain't nobody trying to watch you, lean back and post up from the elbow and waste 15 seconds off the shot clock. It don't work. The game's not played that way anymore, and that's the only way he knows how to play. And he's not openly accepting of being a role player off the bench. He's not effective at being a spot up shooter, as a stretch 4, so he just doesn't do anything well enough that's relevant to today's game. And I'm with you, yo. She need to go act or call Marbury. Maybe he can play in China. I don't know, but it ain't happening.
Oh, he can ball out there now.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, I just feel like he what, and I'm gonna be honest, you can't. I understand the Banana Boat Boys and all of that stuff, but so you can't work with everybody ain't meant for you to work with.
Yeah,
and
they gotta be honest.
You know what I'm saying?
Boy, that's what they gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta be honest with your boy. I remember talking with my homeboy Doc, and he was like, his thing was, the second that the business starts to affect the friendship, you get rid of the business. Yeah. You get rid of the business. And I think that's what Chris Paul needs to do, is just go ahead and let him know, hey dog, man, listen, this shit ain't working with you, dog. Appreciate you coming through, but we got to do something.
That's
like,
what
I only got
did
a
with
certain.
D-Wade in Cleveland last year.
I mean, but that's true, like true friendship. People, they can come to you and talk to you,
exactly,
and be like, yo, because here's the thing, like when your friends come to you and tell you some shit, like they telling you shit you already know.
Yeah.
Like it ain't.
Yeah, Melo can't play no more.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They telling you shit you already know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no.
Like, yeah, like we got a homeboy that we went to college with that would try to kill himself every other week, and shit. Like, that nigga knew he wasn't doing it, so eventually people started calling him out on the shit. Well, go ahead and do it then. That's what you do. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what it is before anybody tells you, and real friends, they tell you. So I'm assuming that's why he's staying away, is because Chris Paul done put on his.
He probably
his
avoiding
State,
CP3 calls.
Yeah, Chris Paul put on his State Farm khakis and walk. Yo, hey, you know how your friends give you that little side nod?
Yeah.
That, yo. You know, like I was talking to management and shit, but dog, like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Just say it, Chris.
Say it, Chris. Go ahead and say it, Chris.
Hey,
you need to go holler at Lala and see if she can holler at 50, dog. Cause I don't know. I don't think this shit gonna work. I don't think this shit gonna work.
The only thing in my head is that meme that they with Braun.
Yeah.
With Wade was like, yo, man, you gotta get these
You gotta get rid of these bombs.
Bro,
Bro, looking at him like,
bro.
and the funniest shit been the score.
yeah.
The funniest shit been the score.
Hey, bro, but look at that Wade. Hey, boy, if y'all find that meme, please send it to me, man.
I still got it on my phone.
Oh man.
Oh man, I hollered, man. That meme is bananas, yo. It's
Still got
bananas.
it on my phone.
Yeah, man, we can finally do something now, man. We can need bombs out.
Get bombs out of here, man. You one of them bombs.
Yeah.
You one of them. You gotta go. Them. Y'all too much, man. Pooh, man, you ready for trivia?
No doubt, man. Dude, I'm crying.
Oh man. All right. Pooh, you host the trivia tonight. Well, we ready for you.
Hey, I ain't gonna front. Hey, guys, you guys gonna have to do this one without me, man. I'm gonna have to tap out. I got a field trip that leaves at 7:30 in the morning. So,
Ooh. Well, go ahead and handle that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and handle that.
Yeah.
Hey, to all my people, all my fans out there, man, I'll be back next week now. I'll be back to win trivia next week. But I'll holler at y'all, boy,
Defy
man.
Life Big Drawls
Right,
coming soon. Yoshi edition.
Defy Life Big Draws. It's a movement.
It's not just draws. It's a movement.
I'll holler at y'all.
All right.
All right, young fella. Be safe tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right, so it's just y'all two, right?
Yeah.
So do y'all want to go with the y'all want to go with the two categories, or y'all want to go three? The normal three, or y'all just want to downsize to two?
Three cool with me.
Don't matter.
Man, let's roll with it.
All right. So categories: box office hits, top grossing movies that never hit number one from 1982 to present. All right. They're double points. You'll get a point for the movie and point for the year.
Okay.
All right. Second category: sports nicknames. Could be any sport: golf, hockey, tennis, whatever.
Like player
All right.
nicknames?
Yeah, player nicknames.
Okay.
Yeah. These are, let me look. Yeah, just the nicknames. Okay. And of course, we're going to go back to Who was I when I said this?
Okay.
Yeah, you get double points if you get the actor and the character.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. Okay. I had something a bonus in one of them, but that's if I thought we had all the players. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that.
All right.
So,
Cool.
I guess I don't know who won whatever the last time. I guess I gotta.
I ain't been on here forever, so I'm sure Money won last time.
Okay. On you? Nah, I don't know. I've been dragging Money. We can start with you. Go ahead.
Man. You got 2 wins
You
against
ain't
me.
nothing
Go
without your
ahead.
Bible. You know without your Bible, Hedrick.
Nah, man. Nah, I've been putting on, man.
Oh, man.
All right, Money. What you want to do?
Let me go with who was I when I said this?
Who was I when I said this?
Let me go with the 10.
With the 10. Okay. Who was I when I said stupid is as stupid does?
Stupid is as stupid does. Fuck. Was that Forrest Gump?
Okay, that's 1 point.
And Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let me write the names at the bottom. Money. Jay.
Let me go sports nicknames for 20.
Okay. 2. Sport nicknames for 20. Okay. This hockey legend was known as a PR's dream and the face of the NHL. I know that's kind of broad, but that's all I have.
Damn.
I know, right?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that could be.
It could be. I mean, because I could.
Anybody.
Several dudes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't place the double point, so you got to give me a nickname. So I could give you the first name in this one, but the other two I'm not gonna give the first.
What?
Because how it's set up, how I wrote the other ones, I don't have to give it in that one, but this one is kind of. You know what? I'll just leave it out. No first name in this one. Then.
So what are you asking me, to give you the player's name or the nickname?
No, that's what I say. I can give you his name, but you have to give me his nickname. Yeah, I want the nickname. All right, so I'm gonna give you. That's what.
Yeah. I'm just saying that description. That's like 5 players. I'm thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to give me one of them though. If I just give you, but since it's just his nickname, I think you might know this though. But okay, Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe, okay, was a hockey legend known as a PR's dream, and he was the face of the NHL.
Shit, I don't know what Gordie Howe nickname was.
That's why I say I could give you his first name, because that his kind of tough.
Shit, I don't know, the Golden Rocket. I don't know.
Wow, you guessed that?
Was that it for real?
Nah.
I know it was something. No, I was about to say. What was it?
You gonna kick yourself, Mr. Hockey.
Oh shit! Yeah, it was Mr. Hockey. Damn, what am I thinking?
Yeah, Mr. Hockey. All right, Junior.
Golden Rocket, same thing. All right.
Who was I when I said this for 20?
Who was I? Let me see. You said that.
I got double points for that last one, didn't I?
Yeah, you got 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was I when I said this for 20? You know, you're right. I am crazy.
Man, come on. These layups, though.
Hey, you had to trust him to select it too.
Man, you right. Fair enough.
You know you're right. I am crazy.
I'm carrying.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know. You know you're right. I am. Say it in your diction again.
You know you're right. I am crazy. 10.
Hey, man, I'm about to say, man, where my
9.
countdown at, though?
8. 7.
We at like -4
6.
right now.
5.
Shit,
4.
Batman.
How'd you guess that?
They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Bat. I guess that's why he got Batman.
Oh, true.
I don't know.
Nah, man, that's Bishop.
Pop.
Juice. You wildin'.
Oh
Wow.
shit, yeah.
Straight wildin'.
Wow. Give me sports nicknames for 30.
Jay cursed that. He's like, yo, how you get that nickname? He didn't even get it. Okay. Sport nicknames for 30. Oh, man. This is a good one. You actually can get 60 on this, Jay. This right here is a double up.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This former Tar Heel was named to the all-rookie first team in 1985. All right. He was drafted by the Dallas Mavs. Give me his name and nickname.
Hold up. Former Tar Heel. Drafted by the Dallas Mavs.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Perkins, Big Smooth.
There it is.
Right. Yeah.
Perk.
I was about to throw Big Game James in there. I was like, can't be Big Game
Oh,
James.
real?
Yeah. But I thought about this old basketball card I had with Sam Perkins cheese.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
And it brought you back? Yeah. Okay, money.
Who was I when I said it for 30?
For 30. I did not think he was going to get Big Smooth. Who was I when I said this? For the 30. Here we go. Okay. Who is Kaiser Sose? He is supposed to be Turkish. Some say his father was German. Nobody believed he was real. Nobody ever saw or knew anybody that saw or worked directly for him.
I'm going to go with, because I know that's the usual suspects. And that was a star-studded cast, but I can't remember exactly who said that. So I'm just going to go with Kevin Spacey.
Okay. You get, that's all you're giving me?
I mean, Kevin Spacey was Kaiser Soze.
That's what you're giving me?
I can get a countdown, though.
I mean, you got, I'm saying you got partial. I just wanted to see, like, that's not the whole 30, though. That's not,
That's not the whole 60?
Yeah, it's not the 60.
I can't remember the guy's name.
How many guesses you get at the 60? Though?
No, that's it. That's it. That's it. Once he was like that, once he was like, that's it. It was verbal.
Yeah, that's it.
Verbal Kent.
Oh, man.
Yeah, verbal Kent. Yeah. Hold on, let me give you a 30. Jay, I wasn't gonna give him no more.
I that kid gonna get infinite guesses at the 60.
Nah,
that's all you got. Nah. Bubba Howard. Nah. That's all you got.
Take one more guess.
Yeah.
Take one more guess.
Johnny Jackson.
Yo, wow.
Nah. One more. Le'Veon Bell. Nah, that wasn't him.
Oh wow, you wild, Jay.
Bishop.
What you want, Jay?
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Give me sports nicknames for 10.
Sport nicknames for 10. Okay. This dynamic cornerback was given this nickname due to drinking his milk as fast as a video game character.
What?
This dynamic cornerback was given his nickname due to drinking his milk as fast as a video game character. This is 10.
I actually don't know this.
8, 7, 6, 5, and this came straight from a bio. That's why I used that.
Pac-Man
4.
Jones.
And Pac-Man Jones. You gonna give me the rest to get the double?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, word. Shit. What I gotta give you is his real name?
Yeah.
Adam Jones.
Okay. All right. So that's 20.
Shit, that was a total guess.
That was a total guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it in his bio. That's what I get. I had no clue. That's why they call him Pac-Man, because he's just drinking. That's crazy.
I was just thinking of any video game character that eat fast.
Does something fast. Right.
Wow.
That makes sense. Okay, so now we have pretty tight race, man. We have Gerald with 50 and Jay with 80, because you got the 60 pointer, then you got that double up.
Okay. All right.
Let me see. I'm thinking, because we only have. Who was out when I said this is shut down? Sport nicknames, they're shut down. And I don't know how we're going to do this, because I have 3. I have 3 of the box office. But you know what? I have 3 box office, and I have a bonus nickname.
Okay.
So I guess we'll have to rock with that. Y'all good with that?
I'm good with it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But y'all have to do the nickname for last, though. All right, Junior. What you want?
Box office for the dub.
Box office for the dub, but these are pretty tough. Released on October 11th, the budget was $55 million. It grossed over $218 million worldwide. This drama was nominated for 6 Oscars. It was directed by Paul Greengrass and starred by Tom Hanks. That can be a gazillion movie.
You ain't even say the release year.
No, because you get double points for the release year, dude. That's why I didn't say the release year. I mean, the director.
You said it was nominated for 6 Grammys?
6 Oscars.
6 Oscars. Did he win?
I didn't put that in my notes, so I don't know.
6 Oscars. Tom Hanks.
I don't think so, though.
Stop asking hints.
255 million.
9.
That sounded like it was a while ago.
8.
So let me go with
6, 5, 4.
Castaway.
Castaway was a pretty decent guess, but it's not. It's Captain Phillips, 2013.
And Greengrass
Captain
direct.
Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips was pretty decent.
I'm your captain now.
Yeah, Captain Phillips, pretty decent. All right, Jay.
All right, let me get it for the 10.
All right. 10 is not that mind-boggling. No. Okay, 10. Released on November 19th. Budget was $100 million. It grossed over $206 million worldwide. This horror movie was nominated for 3 Oscars, winning 1. Directed by Tim Burton, starred by Johnny Depp.
Edward Scissorhands.
No, kid.
Shit, I have no idea.
Sleepy Hollow, yo.
Sleepy Hollow. Oh, I never even saw Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, for real? It wasn't bad. What year, money? Sleepy Hollow.
99, 2001, some shit like that.
99. It was pretty decent.
Too bad it wasn't yours.
Too bad it wasn't yours. Okay. All right, money.
All right, give me the shit for the 30. Let's see what I can do with it.
30. Okay. I kind of like this one. Released July 16th. Budget was $600K. It grossed over $248 million worldwide. This horror movie, okay, the movie summary was very weird. It wasn't nominated for any awards, nor any stars were listed. The cast were all newcomers to the film. Directed by Daniel Myrick, Eduardo Sanchez.
Man.
I think I might know
Got
this.
to hear that budget. Like I said, well, I kind of fumbled the words. Directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Just because I know this one of your favorite movies is the Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch Project. Well, yeah.
I think I was in high school when this shit came out. 98.
98 was close, dude. 99. 99. You had new Blair Witch, Jay? You had thought Blair Witch. Okay. Well, you guys agreed for Jay to get whoever to get the bonus. So this is the bonus.
What's the score, kid?
80-80.
I was gonna say it's tied, ain't it?
Yeah, but you got the question,
Yeah.
so I ain't get my last question.
Yeah. He didn't get his last question. Remember, we had four left.
True.
It's 80-80.
So the bonus is on me.
The bonus is on you. It's just not. I'm not even gonna put any points on it. You know, it's just for the win.
It's for the dub, kid. Let's
Fair
go.
enough. All right. Let me see. And this right here was I made this one so double your entire point total, but that was just before. Okay. I wore number 20. I wore number 20 for the Houston Rockets. My mama named me Eric, and my nickname draws comparison to a Smurf.
Eric Sleepy Floyd.
Man, come on, man.
Nah, that was pretty decent, man. That wasn't
Go. You just know because you're a tar head.
right, Jay. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. Jay, that was
super easy.
Right. Nah, dude. Nah, that wasn't easy.
I guarantee you, any other host on this show wouldn't have got it. Keon wouldn't have
Nah,
got it.
yeah, right. That wasn't easy. Yeah, Al might have got it.
Especially when
and
you
I was
said
like
the nicknames liking him to a Smurf.
I said
Could have been brainy.
It could have been brainy. It could have been
Grouchy.
angry. Grouchy. What do you mean?
Yeah, Smurfette.
Yeah,
Papa.
Rainbow Smurf. I mean,
Happy.
yeah, Papa.
And all of those nicknames are sports nicknames.
Which is true.
Grouchy.
I don't know about that one, but you know.
Grouchy
Mm.
Bill.
Oh, Grouchy near. You're right. You're right. So that wasn't mad easy, man. You can't say that. You can't say that was a layup.
Nah, that's all good. I should have got the year right on Blair Witch.
Which is true.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
yeah,
I guess you'll
my point too.
Yeah.
And since I didn't do it all week, that kind of reminded me of the Steelers and the Panthers. We double your point total, sir.
Well, that's what he do.
True.
It's a business doing pleasure with you.
Right. Right. Well, Jay, hey, I guess you're victorious.
PSA for all listeners.
Yeah, man. That's me. Whenever I jump in trivia, you know how I do.
Oh God.
I don't do it often, but
right.
When I'm here, I got to. So, Pooh, man, you host it real quick. What's your parting shot, man?
Parting shot. It's crazy because I hadn't really thought of one. You know what? I just wanted to say this, man. Working together, as a whole, as a unit, as a team, is just very integral for everyone to do their part. Do their job. Don't leave more stress or more burden on anyone else. Everyone needs to work in unison. I've been doing some work and people are just not dudes. They're just not doing their job, and I don't want to go deep into it, but it's definitely it's frustrating to work with adults not doing their job. So if you're listening, the Patriot motto, man, just do your job. Do your job.
No doubt. All right, Money, what you got for me?
Man, last time we talked, I know we talked about voting. I'm very, very happy. I know I had some Uncle Quilly moments last week, so I apologize. But I was fired up, man, and I'm glad everyone went out, no matter who you voted for, and let your voice be heard. But that's not something we're gonna stop doing. Everyone needs to continue that. Everyone needs to take every opportunity to let your voice be heard. To go out there and do that. So keep doing it. I don't care who you support, just support something, and at least have a base reason of why you do. So with that being said, man, if you're not messing with Defy Life, man, what is your life about? Keep doing your things, everybody.
No doubt. All right. Got nothing really crazy. Just wanna, I watched The Hate You Give this weekend, and dope movie. Is definitely a must see. I usually leave the movie reviews to Migs, but I had to give a shout out to The Hate You Give. The acting, the cast, the storyline, the message, everything is dope. Gotta go see it. I watched it twice already, so shout out to The Hate You Give, and the references to Pac's message and some of his music in it. So it was dope, man.
Facts.
Well, that's all we got, man. Yosh, shout out for joining us tonight. Al, we missed you. Pooh, Yosh, it's been fun, man. Well, it's been episode 83 of the Defy Life Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.